On the wet in the morning Thursday and early afternoon, windy from the northwest as we get into the day. Temperatures dropping through the 40s, 21 Thursday night, but the atmosphere is dry, and 38 and sunny on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
This was literally one of those days, Sue, where I had to ask Fred. I said, wait, is today Wednesday or Thursday? I had
Oh,
to
my gosh.
qualify that question.
I asked the morning show that this morning.
Yeah.
It's how we are.
What, can you remind me, Fred? What did you say?
What did I think? Well, I know
what
it's
day
Wednesday.
is it? It's Wednesday.
Yep.
Good. Excellent. Just confirming. We are a week from Santa's visit on Christmas Eve, aren't we? So
Yes, we are.
We're getting very, very close. Hey, by the way, I know you're giving me trouble about my R&D that I'm doing on Christmas presents. I've bought like 2 presents now at this point.
Is that good?
I think so. I had a mom, well, a friend of ours who is a mom of a couple of friends of Alexa's. She texted me during the show yesterday, and she said, hey, I'm not going to mention what this is. She said, hey, if you're looking for something for Christmas for Becky and Alexa, they both mentioned
Blah,
this.
blah.
Right. And I said, that's awesome. Thank you. But what's this?
I did not know what it was either.
Oh, right. I told you what it was. Right.
Yes.
So I have no. So I think that's like half a present. I haven't done anything yet. First of all, I don't know what it is. And second of all, I haven't purchased it yet. But, you know, I did get the...
Half of the battle is knowing what you're getting.
Thank you, Fred. Exactly. I don't know where to get it or how to... I think I got to order it online or something like that. But I'm working on that. So we got a lot of stuff that is... as so often is the case, moving pieces. We have a Brown University shooting update coming up. A little unusual because today's been a little different than yesterday. They've released another image. Let's see. I think this is starting right now, so let's go to this real quick and see what's going on here. This is live in Providence, and I believe this is the mayor of Providence right now.
Arrest list and eager for an arrest, and we understand and share that feeling. We are also eager for an arrest. The investigation is well underway, and we'll hear an update in just a second from Colonel Perez and Attorney General Nerona. But I want to reemphasize that in the Providence community and with the governor's help, really in the broader Providence community, we have tightened security, and we have neighbors looking out for one another, and we will get through this. I know our city, and we are a resilient community. And we are a city that will support one another as we move forward in this scary time. Just because you're feeling unsafe doesn't mean that that's invalid. We know that that's real, but we are doing everything we can to both advance this investigation, but also to provide the support necessary as we move forward and take the first steps together that we need to as a city to start to recognize that kids need to go to school and people need to go to work, and we appreciate the courage and sometimes even tentative steps forward that we're taking as we start to move forward as a community. At this time, I'd like to introduce Colonel Oscar Perez.
That's Brett Smiley. He's the mayor of Providence, and he's doing those reassurances because there have been a lot of people that have said, wait a second, you're telling us that there is no threat that is in the community, but you still don't have this shooter at this point. And this is Oscar Perez, who is the police chief. Well, he stepped off the podium very quick there. I think he's going to show some video, so we may have to cut out of this at this point because they're basically going to show video. But what happened earlier today, Fred, is they released a second person of interest, and you can see this guy's face. He looks completely different than the first person, but they think that he may be associated, or they really don't even know, but they're looking for this person at the same time now as well.
Let's hear what they call him.
Yep, yeah. I don't know if they're actually going to narrate this. Let's see.
This is a person that we would like to speak with.
Okay, here we go.
I truly believe, based on the video footage that we have been watching for a few days, that may have relevant information to the investigation. So we're asking the public that you can help us identify who this individual is, as well as the individual themselves sees their picture, to please contact the police department. As far as the one thing that I want to mention, I want to urge you, the public, not to rely on or circulate AI-generated images that are currently being shared on social media, as they're not verified or credible. As well, the updates and information that you're getting will be provided exclusively through this department's official channels. I want to make sure that we make that happen, and please notify the public to make sure that that occurs.
So the images that they're showing right now, this guy, you can see his face much more clearly than the suspect from yesterday who was masked. Now, again, they're not saying that this is the shooter. They're saying they'd like to speak with this second person.
Of the area that we have been intensively walking on those streets, canvassing the area. So as you see the blue image, yesterday I mentioned that we need the public's assistance to check their camera systems or any sort of video that you may have that could be helpful to us, that you, as you're watching it or as you're reviewing it, you feel there may be something that we can use. Please notify us. And if you need any help with that, viewing those videos, please also call us. We can come over and help you. The green area, that's color, that's when we have confirmed where the subject was prior to the shooting.
So he's describing a map right now. There's a big square area over the map, which is where they'd like to have, some video. It's a pretty big area of the neighborhood that is, right next to Brown University. And then the green area is where they've already attained some of the video that they're showing us at this point. That's a much smaller portion of these neighborhoods.
There's about 9 federal agencies that are assisting us with this investigation, adding the state police as well as the Providence police and other municipalities. Again, I would like to reiterate, if you have any tips, please call the 272-3121 or the FBI link at fbi.gov/Brown University shooting.
Okay, we'll see if they go to some questions here. But, Fred, doesn't this kind of tell you that they're not any closer to getting this person than they were yesterday? It doesn't sound like it, right?
No.
So that, they put the map up there very quickly. Jacob Fry, who is I think his name is Smiley, who is the mayor of Providence, is back up there right now. I don't know if he's going to take questions or not.
First, I want to just take a moment to recognize and honor the memory of Ella Cook and Muhammad Aziz Umerzakov, who are the 2 deceased victims from this tragedy, and update you on the status of the survivors.
Okay, we're going to let them go at this point. We'll see if there's any more information. The whole situation is weird, and there's a lot of frustration with this. I've heard Paul Morrow again on Fox today, and he was on our show.
He's there today.
He is, and he's defending the investigators from this standpoint, saying, and I think, Sue, you heard him yesterday, he offered the Brian Kohlberger situation as an example, because it did look like at the beginning of that investigation that we were dealing with inefficient policing,
Right.
the Keystone Cops, and then it kind of all came together. So, maybe there's a chance that they know more. You would hope that they know more that they're saying right now.
Right.
But releasing that second image is weird because no matter, let's say that guy's not the shooter, right? Maybe he has nothing to do with it at all, but he saw someone. You're plastering his face all over the world.
I know.
You're telling me that's not going to screw up that guy's life? I mean, if I'm the person that's just walking on campus and I have nothing to do with this, now maybe he does, right?
Maybe he does.
But I'm thinking, wow, that's pretty bold. Here's some frustrated folks.
I wouldn't say they've hit a dead end, but they just don't have any solid leads on the identification of the subject.
It appears as though he may be scoping things out, but it's more so he's like buying time. He's almost waiting until he knows where he wants to go and what he wants to do.
He's engaging in that pre-attack surveillance, that right before, making sure it's a soft target, making sure there's no law enforcement in sight, and just rehearsing his attack right before he goes in that building and commits it.
It was the whole video from yesterday, and I've watched it. I've seen it so many times. It's weird because he's kind of just pacing around. If that's the guy,
Right.
We don't even know if that's the guy. They don't know if that's the guy. Anyway, Brian Kilmeade's coming up. He'll have something to say about this here in a couple of minutes. We have Congressman Bob Onder at the bottom of the hour. There was a House vote today, sort of a test vote on some health care plans. He's wrapping up his first year in Congress already, which is kind of hard to believe. So he's going to join us a little bit later this hour. We got a lot of rain moving in tomorrow, and I thought we'd get update on the holiday forecast as we're getting closer. So Dave Murray will be with us after 4 o'clock this afternoon. Of course, we have a Wednesday edition of Sue's News, and Alex Rich joins us on a Wednesday afternoon. So he'll be here sharing some stories. Duane Patterson from hotair.com and Frank Miele will be with us at 5:30. He's great on politics, and he's written a column about healthcare and how we can fix it and what he thinks the plan should be. Senator Eric Schmidt was one of the privileged few that saw the double tap video today. I still think, you had Pete Hegseth. I don't think I played this audio from a couple of days ago, but he said, we're not releasing the full unedited video. I wish they would, personally, but you still have these competing versions of what happened and what people saw. So Senator Schmidt, who was, I'm not sure which intelligence committee he's on, if it's just the Senate Intelligence or Senate Foreign Relations, but because of that, he had access to see the video today.
I think the Democrats ought to be ashamed of themselves at this point, continuing to peddle this lie. You got to remember, this started as a phony Washington Post story that was debunked by the New York Times, of all places, that Pete Hegseth said kill everybody as an order, which was thoroughly debunked. I saw the video. Admiral Bradley, the Admiral was clearly within his ability to order those strikes. These are narco-terrorists. These folks were seeking to continue their efforts. They were seeking to continue their mission. And I've also reviewed the 40-plus page legal justification for it, the legal memorandum. The president has been delegated by Congress the ability to declare terrorist organizations. He's done that. They're carrying out that mission.
So here is what he says he saw.
They're seeking to turn the boat back over. It was still floating. They knew there were other narco-terrorists in the area. They were seeking to join up with them. And so that effort was ongoing. And so, consistent with the order to take these boats and the people who were seeking to poison Americans out, the order was given then again to take it out on the second strike. By the way, this has happened for decades at this point with terrorists. When the first strike doesn't work and they're still active and they're still trying to accomplish their mission, they're taken out. So again, this was all an effort, I think, by the Democrats to try to, an ongoing effort, I should say, to discredit Pete Hegseth. They didn't want him to be the Secretary of War in the first place. They're trying to discredit him. They should just come clean and say that their effort failed, because anybody that watches that video knows these folks were continuing their mission to deliver drugs and poison Americans.
So I'd like the chance to see that video for myself. I really would, mainly because there's so much variety and diametrically opposed interpretation between what the Democrats said a couple of weeks ago, who were able to see that, and what Senator Schmidt and others. But I guess it's not going to be unclassified for the rest of us to see. That's what the War Secretary said, Pete Hegseth, a couple of days ago. All right, we're off and running here on a pretty nice day before all the rain moves in. I mentioned Dave Murray's going to join us after 4 o'clock. Pretty nice today.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
If you are headed into Illinois on the Poplar Street Bridge, we have the jam that we had yesterday, which is essentially due to road work eastbound on the Missouri end of the Poplar and the left lane. So already a jam there. And an accident reported southbound 141 at 55. Some slow-moving traffic there. And we've got some volume already on southbound 55 headed down toward Bates. We've got westbound 64 lined up Hampton out through McCausland, and a little bit out west at the 70 split. Moderate volume already along southbound 270 approaching Page down through 64. This report brought to you by the fabulous people at the Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. Check their website for some extended holiday hours. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, let's talk about Michael's Baths here this afternoon. If you're looking for a bathroom remodel, maybe it's not even an entire remodel, just something you're interested in, maybe to make the tub and the shower area safer, they are a perfect choice here in the St. Louis area. They're a great sponsor now of 97.1 FM Talk. Mike Gower is the owner. His daughter Melody will answer your phone call when you call. Now, a couple of things I want you to know. First and foremost, just by mentioning my name or 97.1 FM Talk, and you move forward with the project, they're offering you a free shower door or $500 off the project. On top of that, their estimates come in 30 to 50% less than the competition on a regular basis, and you're still getting great quality products, great quality installation from a great company with American-made products here in St. Louis. So if you're looking for a bathroom remodel, you want something, get rid of that tile in the grout, they have this product. I've looked at this, and I've put my hands on them. They have the shower wall product that has the benefits and the looks of natural stone, but they're real easy to clean and maintain. They have more than 20 colors. They look great. They have showers with non-slip surfaces, so you don't have to worry about those non-skid shower stickers. They're going to take great care of you at Michael's Baths, and all they do is bathrooms. michaelsbaths.com, 636-775-0800.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
Grandpa had a soft spot for dogs.
Yeah, he always had treats in his pocket.
He said if you're going to take care of people, you better take care of their best friends too.
Is that why we help dog shelters?
That's right. For every service call, we donate 10 pounds of dog food to local dog shelters, helping dogs waiting for a home.
Grandpa would like that.
He sure would.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Mark Reardon, Sue Thomas. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
It's going to be a really good speech. I was just in the Oval Office with the president discussing it. He's going to talk a lot about the accomplishments over the past 11 months, all that he's done to bring our country back to greatness, and all he continues to plan to do to continue delivering for the American people over the next 3 years.
Yeah, I wonder if the president's going to be full of Christmas cheer tonight when he delivers that address. Let's check in with Brian Kilmeade this afternoon. You heard him this morning on 97.1 FM Talk. He's the co-host of Fox and Friends, and he has his show on Sunday, which is called One Nation. Brian, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just doing good. How are you?
I'm good. What do you think about tonight? They've kind of kept it a little secret. It seems like it's going to piggyback a little bit off of the, the campaign-style speech that he had last week in Pennsylvania. What are your expectations?
Well, I mean, Oval Office usually don't ad-lib much, but Trump is Trump. So I think they got to talk about things that are happening. Like we cut $600 billion off our deficit, and then we cut our trade deficit in half. And we have gas heading down. It could be $2.20 nationwide on the average, even with all the taxes that California and these other Maryland and all these other high tax states. That could be. These are some good news and the different things that are coming down in the grocery store. And he's going to talk about we just have work to do, and this is what we can look forward to with the big beautiful bill on tax deductions and refunds. Okay. And then he says he's got a new announcement on the economy. Very curious about that.
Yes.
But the other story would be Venezuela, the direction. So he's going to, he probably got a lot of that from Democrats. What do you guys want to do? What are you trying to do? When they got briefed yesterday and the Venezuelan drug boat hits. And he figured, let's just do this. Let's just do it before everyone goes away for a week, and who knows, what's going to happen next. Let's see if I can get the country's attention to focus on what 26 is going to be like and what the first and the last year has been like and what he inherited. So that's it. And I'm sure he will not bring up anything to do with, I don't think this is the time to bring up Australia and other things, but I would not mind if he brought up, the threat of Islamic extremism in our country, that we can't go to sleep on this. Well, especially if Brown ends up turning that direction.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. We had a little bit of a briefing here at the beginning of the hour. This is day 5 of the manhunt. They have new images of someone who is not masked, who just might be someone they want to talk to. Paul Morrow was on my show yesterday. He's been on with you guys regularly. He's sort of defended the investigators from the standpoint of maybe give them a little patience, that there's a lot of things to piece together. But this is rather unusual that we don't have someone within 5 days, and they don't seem to be, even closer based on what I heard earlier this hour, Brian.
Well, look, I'm not saying it's easy to manhunt. As far as I know, I got to check my resume again. I've never hunted down somebody that killed somebody. I get it. But you should be on the same page with the attorney general, with the mayor, and with the police chief. You got to get that on the same page. And as we mentioned, I'm not sure if we talked about this, but, if you're going to say, hey, we got a description, you have a description, you have more video, yeah, it's going to be on the website. It's going to be on the website. What about now? Well, yeah, we don't have it ready yet. We're going to have it on the website shortly. Don't come to a press conference if you don't have a picture of the suspect. You got to be kidding. And then when the police chief comes out yesterday and says, this picture's from the outside, he goes, no, it's from the inside. He goes, no, it's from the inside. He goes, no, we have pictures on the inside and outside. And then the attorney general just steps in front of the police chief and clarifies. That's a joke.
Yeah,
So,
they don't seem to be.
I know it's not easy, but you got to be able to get your act together.
Right. They're not on the same page. Let me go to Bondi Beach because, I mentioned this yesterday, and one of the things with these international stories, this was horrific. And, a lot of people died, and there were heroes, and one elderly guy who tried to wrestle the gun who was shot and killed with his wife. He had the other guy that managed to, grab the long rifle away from one of the shooters. But what a horrifying day on Sunday. And, look, the complaints, there's common ground here with America when you listen to the folks in Australia saying that these warning signs were ignored by a lot of, not only Australian officials, but the media.
It's unbelievable. I mean, we can't go inside Australian politics, but just picture a left-wing government that just wants to be politically correct about everything and doesn't like Israel. Remember, they also are pushing for a two-state solution with no clue what that two states will look like. Call up Bill Clinton; he'll tell you about the two-state solution. He's more down on that than Netanyahu. So, and then to go ahead and go to the UN and scramble to do that, and what the Prime Minister of Israel said, we've been warning you. Ultimately, we give you specific examples of what they were looking to do inside your country, and you ignored it. You looked the other way, and now your answer is gun control. Really? We got to look at our gun control. Well, how about this? If you interview someone in 2019 and you think he's a terrorist, but you're not sure, how about don't let him get 6 guns? Because you deny everybody else in your country guns.
It's unbelievable.
But you don't deny this guy.
Right.
I mean, then we got to get to the bottom of that. Evidently, there's some reasons to get guns, and this guy had hunting, sport fishing, or whatever he did, so he was able to answer those questions. But in 2019, they thought he was a terrorist. But in 2026, you can give him anything he wants, along with his son.
Yeah, it's stunning, really. It really is. Brian Kilmeade with us this afternoon. So what did you make of the Susie Wiles piece? I spent quite a bit of time on this yesterday. I read the piece in Vanity Fair. Apparently there's a second one coming. The biggest question I think that a lot of people on the conservative side have is why would you agree to do this with Vanity Fair?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
I mean, look, there were quotes. And it's not like they say, my impression of Susie Wiles is this. These are quotes. Now, so are some of them taken out of context, perhaps? But I actually think that's what you would say if I asked her and she wanted to be candid. So he did 11 interviews with this guy. And I know him. I think we might have both interviewed him on his book tour when he came through, and on the chief of staff did a pretty good job. But you could tell by the premise of the questions that she was not for his immigration policies. You could tell by the premise of the questions she was not, just by the tone, he was not for tariffs. But she says, the tariffs were a little chaotic. She said that, Marco Rubio had to fix USAID, that basically Elon Musk was reckless and he's a one-man machine and he's on ketamine. Oh, wow. All right. President's personality is like an alcoholic. The president goes, yeah, I admit it. I would be. If I drank, I'd have a problem. But he likes big risks and he has a lot of confidence in himself. So she would know that. So a lot of the stuff that came out wasn't salacious.
No.
It was what you heard. I mean, They should listen. The tariffs are coming out. It was more chaotic than I think the word she was chaotic. It was more chaotic than they thought. Was he advised to do it little by little, incrementally? He says, yeah, he was advised to, but he didn't do that. And she said, my job is not to control him. My job is to run the White House. So that's why he likes her, and they have mutual respect. So when she does say things, it's like, hey, I wouldn't do that. I'm not telling you not to do it, saying I wouldn't do that. You know me. You know I know you. So that's why she has to stay for 4 years.
Well, and I think that, some of that and some of her, the reason that she got this job does come through in that piece. I do think that some of those quotes without context are confusing. And then when you talk about the 11 interviews, they were done in a way where the way that Chris Whipple does his story is you see different days that might be defining days throughout the administration in the past year. And he focuses on those days and the quotes that she may have given on those particular days or maybe in the aftermath of whatever might have happened, like the tariffs, for example, in the spring. So the view might be a little different now than it would have been last year. The thing that I just have to go back to the place where I don't know if it was, ego or just maybe trust in Chris Whipple, because you typically are not going to get something in a piece like or a magazine like Vanity Fair, Rolling Stone, or Esquire, any of those, that's going to be complimentary to conservatives. I mean, that's just kind of basic media 101.
I don't know why she said yes. I really don't, because I mean, for example, I got to know her a little bit before, before Trump won, and I have a house in Ponte Vedra, and so does she. Lives there, and that's in the Jacksonville area. So I had a chance to talk to her before, and she would just tell me, I'm not into publicity. I really don't want to do any publicity. So I called her up like 6 weeks ago, and I just said, hey, Susie, I'm just telling you that, I saw you on a couple of times with a podcast. I saw you on with Laura. And she goes, listen, I would definitely do your show, except for they had to push me to do Larry Trump. The president personally asked me.
Oh, yeah.
The other one was something was set up before I took office. So I go, okay. And next thing you know, she does a year-long interview with Vanity Fair. And I don't know how it came to be. I guess we'll find out shortly. But I actually don't think it's that bad.
No, it's not.
When they wrote about the chaos, remember Michael Wolff, when he wrote about the chaos and he just waited in the waiting room and watched all that chaos happen, and Bob Woodward kind of coaxed the president into trusting him and then blew him up. And then that's like, what were you thinking? Here, I read it and I go, okay, Pam Bondi did whiff on
the Epstein files.
She did
really. Yeah,
whiff
right.
on the Epstein files.
Yeah.
So, and she's done a lot of great things since. Now, do I expect an analyst to do that as opposed to the active chief of staff? Yes. But I read it and I go, well, it's kind of true.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that, but you would have thought, boy, it was like, and I knew this was going to be the case. I predicted this on the show yesterday afternoon. So I leave here, and it's like an alternative universe. I turn Laura's show on. She's talking about Brown University. I flip Aaron Burnett on CNN, and they are going nuts on the Susie Wiles piece and all the chaos, and this reaffirms how bad the White House is. So some of this is the interpretation by the legacy media, of course, as well. What's coming up? You got a few days until Sunday night show. You got anything special planned right before Christmas, Brian?
Yeah, well, I'm going to have Kevin O'Leary on to break down the practical economy, about buying a house. What can we see? What's going to unjam this thing? What the big picture is. Also, the McDonald's CEO who came out and said, take responsibility for your own career. Stop looking at economic indicators.
Yeah.
So I want to get into that. Frank Luntz is going to join me and tell me how this year sets up. I thought it would be a perfect guest for tomorrow, for Sunday, rather. And I'm going to do the how expensive is travel sports. We saw that subcommittee meeting yesterday. I'm fascinated by it. It's up 40%. Now, parents, if 70% of this country is living paycheck to paycheck and your kid is a good baseball player or is an aspiring soccer or volleyball player, now you got to come up with an extra $5,000 a year so your kid can play travel team at 13 years old. It's gotten out of control. So they had a subcommittee meeting on it. I think I'm going to tackle that subject.
Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad. That is a great topic. I was unfamiliar with the hearing yesterday, but I guarantee you there's a lot of people raising their hands in my audience right now saying, yeah we agree with that, right?
Yeah, and then you got to, if you care about your kid, you get them a tutor if they're doing bad in school. Well, what if they're falling a little bit behind in sports? You got to go get them a trainer, someone to give them skills, a hitting coach, a soccer coach, someone to teach them moves, unless you don't like your kid. So that's what they say. You'll do anything for your kid. So you want him or her to make the travel team or to have high self-esteem. So write that check, right? Find that 24-year-old kid coming out of college and wants to make a little extra money. So the pressure on parents just to keep up. So what? So the kid can hang out with other kids his age, let alone if they aspire to go play in college. There's so many different reasons. But it should be cheaper to play.
Absolutely.
So A-Rod said, I would not have been able to play baseball. I was a single-parent family. My family had absolutely no money. Tim Howard, the best goalie the U.S. ever had, said that I had a single-parent family. We basically couldn't afford to go away and stay in a hotel room. We had to stay in the car if I had a travel tournament. So that's those. So maybe our next great players can't afford to play, and that would be sad.
Yeah, that's a fascinating topic. I look forward to that, of course, One Nation Sunday night at 8 p.m. Brian Kilmeade, have a great Christmas. I'm taking a couple of weeks off. I'm sure you're going to take a little time off. We'll talk in about 3 weeks.
Go get him, Mark.
All right,
Thanks
thank
so
you.
much
Merry
for
Christmas.
everything.
Take
Have a
care.
great Christmas to you and the audience.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got a jam on the Poplar Street Bridge. They've got road work going on in the left lane, eastbound on the bridge at the Missouri end, and this has caused a jam behind it. We had it yesterday, too. But that means we are already back to Jefferson. Well, that means we also have a jam on northbound 55. People in the right lanes trying to get on the bridge. That's a jam that goes back through 44. Then 55 lines up near Arsenal, down through Bates in that construction zone. Westbound 44, a slow go at 270. 64, that lines up approaching Clayton Skinker on out through McCausland. Southbound 270, slow pockets. Now this is Page down through 44, and then it opens up. 70 westbound a little slow at K, and 40 a little slow at 94, and then in pockets out through 70. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to get exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. 10 athletes will face the toughest job interview in fitness that will push past physical and mental breaking points. You are the fittest of the fit. Only one of you will leave here with an iFit contract for $250,000.
This is when mindset comes in.
Someone will be eliminated.
Pressure is coming down.
This is Trainer Games.
Watch it on Prime Video starting January 8th.
New tax resolution firms are popping up every day with high-paid celebrity endorsers, advertising ridiculous claims in their TV ads. That's why they have the tiny, unreadable disclaimers at the bottom of the screen. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our ads never have those ridiculous, fast-talking, tiny disclaimers at the end because, simply put, there are no guarantees when it comes to the IRS and wiping out tax bills. And we don't make promises we can't keep. Of course, there are ways the Lance Drury Law Firm can help resolve your tax debt, but no company can guarantee it will eliminate it. This is why their clients call the Lance Drury Law Firm when those promises don't pan out. If you have tax problems, you have legal problems, call me, Lance Drury in St. Louis, at 314-260-6120 or visit Lance, D-R-U-R-Y, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I feel I erred today in not making time to go hit some golf balls because today was the day to do that. It is beautiful.
Yeah.
We have rain moving in tomorrow, and then I think we got some temperatures that are somewhat comfortable leading up to Christmas. But we'll get a forecast update from Dave Murray after the top of the hour. I thought it'd be a good day to get him on to sort of preview the next week since a lot of people are off. I feel like we're not quite into full holiday mode, but we're getting close.
Right on the cusp.
Yes, we are. Congressman Bob Onder is back with us this afternoon. He is in Washington working hard. You're not back in the district yet. You got some stuff to do. How are you, Bob, this afternoon?
Oh, I'm doing really well. The weather here in Washington's been kind of cold and nasty, so I look forward to getting home.
Well, what's happening in the House today? Sort of explain the procedure, because there's health care, questions about these subsidies. There's a test vote that's going on tonight. So give us the update on what's going to happen here in the next few days before the Christmas break.
Yes, this evening we will be voting on the Affordable Health Care for All Americans Act, which is a compilation of several different healthcare bills that will bring down healthcare costs for all Americans, not just the 7 million who get these extended COVID subsidies that Democrats keep talking about. It does a number of things. It improves choice and competition with choice accounts and with the associated health plans by fixing a flaw in Obamacare, it will, known as the cost share reduction program, it will lower Obamacare premiums by 11%. Expiration of the COVID enhanced subsidies only increases cost by 4%. So if you want to reduce health care costs in Obamacare and elsewhere, you would support our bill. And I hope some of my Democrat colleagues do so, although I'm not overly optimistic there.
Is the expectation that that does pass and go to the Senate or not? Because
Yes.
this is where it gets a little difficult in kind of deciphering what you guys are doing, because I know that there's some Republicans, for Mike Lawler amongst them, that have kind of pulled back and they're voting for the subsidies. Are they members in the caucus that would also vote for this particular bill?
Yeah, with this bill, I will say this bill I think is a strong bill, but we could do more in some of these areas. But the way this bill was compiled is that every one of these provisions has passed the House of Representatives previously I think almost all of them on a bipartisan basis. So we should. I don't know that any Democrats are going to help us tonight, but I don't think there's any reason for any Republican to vote no on this bill tonight. Yeah, separately, what's going on is that 4 Republicans unfortunately joined all the Democrats in a discharge petition to force a vote on these enhanced COVID subsidies 2.5 years after COVID officially ended. It's the Hakeem Jeffries bill, the 3-year extension of those subsidies that are just rife with fraud and abuse, and in which the Senate already rejected. So,
what is it? This is where people, when we sit here in the audience, I want to make sure they understand, because it even gets confusing for me, Congressman. So when the signatures from those 4 Republicans, Mike Lawler, Brian Fitzpatrick, Rob Bresnahan, and Ryan McKenzie, the way it's described in the media that I'm reading, it clinched a Democrat discharge position pushed by the minority leader, Hakeem Jeffries. As you mentioned, it's Hakeem's bill. So that actually does an end run around Johnson, and it requires a floor vote on the subsidies?
Yes. It does an end run. It is a Hakeem Jeffries bill. The discharge petition is a tool of the minority to subvert not only Speaker Johnson, but the entire Republican conference. Basically 4 Republicans sided with the Democrats to support Hakeem Jeffries' bill. Probably an exercise in futility, because the Senate had already by a wide margin, 9 votes short, rejected this very same bill over there. But they want the vote, and they were even offered this vote as long as they figured out a way to offset it by cost reductions to pay for it, or if they accepted Hyde Amendment language to prevent taxpayers from being forced to fund abortion. And this little gang of moderates decided, no, they don't want any of those things. They rather side with the Democrats. It's pretty sad.
The better plan of attack would be, wouldn't the better plan be that, look, the Jeffries bill is not going to pass, right? So why not offer, Democrats should offer with Republicans to negotiate to see where they can find common ground in a bipartisan way to get this across the finish, because at this point, both sides aren't going to get their way unless they work together.
Yeah, I mean, look, I believe these COVID subsidies were a ridiculous Democrat way of expanding Obamacare, allegedly in the name of fighting respiratory virus. It never made sense to me. They passed these enhanced subsidies in 21 and 22 without a single Republican vote. I think they need to expire. But yes, if I were one of these moderates, I would pursue the course of action you're outlining, which is see what you can get, see what you can negotiate with your Republican colleagues, with Republican leadership to get. But instead, they decided to go over to the other side and do Jeffries' bidding. Yeah,
Congressman Bob Onders with us. One of the criticisms I've had of the Democrats going back to the Obamacare, initial beginnings was and this is happening again, Bob, to see if you agree with me, that they wanted to focus on that smaller percentage of people in this country who don't have health care, right? But they did it at their own peril because they kind of ignored the 90% of people, the 95% of people who have health care through their employers. And in this particular situation, there's a Wall Street Journal piece this morning written by someone named Chris Pope that says that these Obamacare subsidies could kill your plan, because what he's arguing is that because this is focusing on 6% of Americans that are enrolled, not the rest of us who get, our health care through employers. So this might offer the companies that do the policies through employers an incentive to not offer up that coverage. So he's offering a warning sign saying, look, you extend these, this is going to be an incentive for the people who have insurance through their employers to be cut off. You have any thoughts on that?
Well, yes, Mark, that not only is that a warning, it's been going on now for a decade and a half ever since Obamacare was passed. A lot of employers of lower wage workers dumped their workers and their health insurance onto Medicaid, just plain old Medicaid. And yes, there are a lot of employers that have dumped their medium wage, middle class wage earners onto the Obamacare exchanges, including, amazingly, some blue cities like I believe Detroit and Chicago among them. So yes, this phenomenon of and you're right, it's about 87-90% of us. Of the non-senior population in the United States, we get our insurance through our employers, and by and large, we're relatively happy with those plans. Yes, those are all in jeopardy, and they have been ever since the beginning of Obamacare, the Obamacare program.
Just do me a favor. When all this comes up, one of my biggest pet peeves when healthcare gets discussed is the Democrats, Bob, they love to talk about, previous conditions and people not having coverage for that, and they need to be pre-existing conditions. They need to be reminded, and I believe it was 1997. It was either 1997 or 1998. There was federal legislation that was crafted, and it said you are not going to lose your coverage. If you don't gap your coverage, you're not losing your coverage for pre-existing conditions. But a lot of people still think it's cool to not have any health care until you get a bad disease, or then you need it, and you haven't paid for the insurance, and then all of a sudden you're expected to be covered. That's not the way the system works, and that's the way a lot of people and younger people, that's how they deal with this, which is one of the reasons we get into this crisis.
Yeah, but well, first of all, and again, for the 90% of us covered by insurance through our employers, pre-existing conditions aren't an issue because that's the way employer-sponsored health insurance works. But I think it goes both ways. I think also younger, healthier people are opting in great numbers not to buy insurance because it's just not affordable. We were told you could keep your health plan if you like it, according to Barack Obama. And we were told that the Obamacare exchanges would lower health care premiums. And Obama was very specific by an average of $2,500 a year. The very year that the Obamacare exchanges went into effect, premiums increased 48%. And since then, they've gone up another 98%. So if we need more affordable health care options, we need to be able to buy insurance through groups of employers, for that matter, I believe through Sam's or Costco, or if you and your neighbors want to put together an association health plan, I think you should be able to do it. Short-term health plans should be widely available, expanded HSAs, and then transparency so we know what things are going to cost when we go to a clinic or go to the emergency room.
It's the only place you don't know the prices, right? Even at the dentist, they outline the prices for you. You go to the doctor or the ER or anywhere else, the prices are a mystery until you get the bill, until the insurance company gets the bill.
Well, it really is, and that's really the essence of the affordability problem in medicine. I think when someone sprains their ankle and they think it might be broken, so they go to the ER, they really don't know whether it's going to cost them $500, $5,000, or $50,000. No. That's how obscene some of these hospital bills are. We need transparency in a bad way. Absolutely.
Congressman Bob Onder, have a great Christmas. Keep us posted on all this.
Thank you, Mark.
Right.
Merry Christmas.
Take care.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Yesterday, if you will recall, we had a jam headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, and it was really early. Well, we've got that again today, and it's due to road work in the left lane on the bridge. So if you are headed into Illinois, there's already a jam that goes back past Jefferson. And that, of course, has jammed up traffic back on northbound 55 for drivers trying to merge onto the bridge back onto 44. At 44, westbound is really slow in that area as well, just right there in front of the arch grounds. Then we've got the usual volume, 6440 westbound. It starts near Kings Highway. Slow pockets all the way out through 70, but not too bad. 70 westbound, not bad at all. It's better. A little slow, though, at 79 and again at Wentzville. Now, southbound 270 does have slow pockets. It's Page down through Doherty Ferry, moderate volume at 21. And 55 is pretty slow, headed down toward Bates. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
From our family at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation to yours. Happy holidays.
You want to hurry this up, Mark? I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Relax, Grandpa. Air Comfort Service is on their way. Aubrey, you're not doing anything. You want to let me know when they get here?
Honey, her eyes are frozen shut. Gus.
Avoid a 5-alarm emergency with an HVAC system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Learn more at aircomfortservice.com.
Game Day Men's Health in Chesterfield, guys. That's where I want you to go to get a free testosterone and PSA test, and it's a great, great experience. It's an hour visit. Within 20 minutes of that visit, you'll be sitting down with a certified professional at Game Day Men's Health that's going to offer you some advice on where to take your plan. And every plan is going to be different. Maybe you're not even looking for anything related to testosterone, and you're maybe interested in medical weight loss. They have great medical weight loss programs, and they have their own FDA-certified pharmacy in-house, so they can offer you great prices. And even though it's Game Day Men's Health, they can offer that to men and women. So if you're looking for a safe, convenient place to explore semaglutide and some of the other options that you have with an expert board of certified medical professionals, you get it at Game Day Men's Health. Matt Lawrence's team is located right there at 6440 in Clarkson and Olive. It's a beautiful office location, very man cave-like, and you're going to enjoy the experience. And again, you can go in for free. They stick to that 1-hour timeline. They're very, very specific, and they're proud of that. Matt has a great team. He'd love to take great care of you. So come to the experts at Game Day. They know everything about everything peptide related. That's something else that's kind of hot right now. A lot of misinformation online. Get with the team at Game Day and get it straight. Game Day Men's Health in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. Online, GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Merry Christmas.
Hey everyone, it's Ethan from the Mark Cox Morning Show. I just want to take a second to thank all the listeners for such a great year. We couldn't have done this without you guys. I hope you all have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Also, don't forget, download the Mark Cox Morning Show podcast.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790 or biglou.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Available in so many delicious varieties. Classic, cage-free, organic, free-range, and pasture-raised. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Christmas time in the air. We Three Kings from Los Straitjackets. I love these guys. Every once in a while, there's some vocals by Big Sandy. Is the guy's name? Do you know Big Sandy?
Well,
and the Fly Right Boys.
Oh,
you know them?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Los Straitjackets performs in Mexican wrestling.
Well,
masks.
yeah, they have toured with Nick Lowe, so I've seen them.
Yeah, they're
Nick.
great.
Mm-hmm.
It's real odd to interview. I interviewed them one time up at Summerfest in Milwaukee, and it's very odd to. They came in with their masks on, and they were kind of in character, and it was like. Not the best radio thing, if you know what I mean,
yeah,
because it's like a visual thing. But, yeah, those guys are awesome, and I use them quite often at Christmas time. I am going to, as we kind of lay out next week a little bit, Monday we're going to do some best ofs. Tuesday, some best ofs. Wednesday we're not here because they're airing Annie's Christmas special, so we get the bonus day off. But in the 5 o'clock hour on Tuesday, which would be Christmas Eve, I'm going to spin some Christmas music. You might remember, Sue.
I do.
They allowed me to do this last year. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'll have to pick out some of the songs I played last year will be repeated because they're my favorite Christmas songs, but I'll come up with a few unique ones, and we'll do that on Tuesday because after you might be able to say it about right now, but certainly after Friday, everyone's in a different mode with the holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And listening habits are very different, and not as many people are working. So next week's going to be a little different, and then I'll be off from the 24th through the end of the year. We'll all be back together on the 5th of January. I start thinking about these things just in the future, like Alexa's birthday is in March. She'll turn 11 on March 8th. And, realistically, when you start thinking about the calendar, that's not that far off.
No, it really
right?
isn't.
I mean, football's almost over, which makes me so sad. Not the postseason, but we only have 3 games left in the regular NFL season. We have college football playoff games this weekend. And you know how addicted I am to football. So
yes.
I get a little sad at the end of football season. But you know what? We have great baseball to look. Oh wait, we don't.
I am going to go to. I'm going to go to Houston next month and eat at the restaurant.
At Squabble?
Yes.
Yeah, my son's restaurant. If you go down there, so it's not. He doesn't own it. Mark Clayton is the guy who owns it. Evan is one of the cooks, and it was just picked as Houston Chronicle put out their list of the top 100 restaurants. Squabble came in at number 2.
And it's really good. I've gone before, but I look forward to going again.
It's in the Heights area. That's what they call it down there in Houston. That's where they live, which is kind of a fancy area, but lots of food and drink and stuff like that. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll come back with Dave Murray. A lot of rain in the forecast for tomorrow. What's the rest of the weekend and into Christmas week holding? We'll find out from Brian. We'll have a Sue's News for Wednesday afternoon. Our friend Alex Rich is here on Wednesday as well. All coming up.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There is road work eastbound 64 on the Poplar Street Bridge on the Missouri side. Left lane is blocked, and we already have a parking lot jam back to Jefferson. Well, this has jammed up northbound 55. Drivers in the right lane trying to get on the bridge eastbound. So that's back through 44. Westbound 44 slowing in front of the Arch grounds. We've got a jam on southbound 55 Arsenal down through at least Bates. Southbound 270 Slow Pockets Page. That goes all the way down through 21. 70 isn't that bad out of downtown. Some moderate volume along the way out west. And now we've got 55 southbound, an accident reported south of 141. So a delay there as well. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
If you need help in the area of family law, and this might be a tough time of the year to talk about that because we're leading into the holidays, but Susan L. Ward can help you. And she will tell you, like if we had her on the air today and we said, Susan, when are you going to get crushed with the most phone calls? She'll say right after the first of the year because people kind of put these things on hold and then they move forward. She's there for you if you need her help. And they have a beautiful new office location. This was a big year, 2025, for the team because They moved into some new digs in the De Pere area, 270 in Manchester, and it's a beautiful, beautiful location. It doesn't matter what the issues are in your case. They're very committed to bringing you their experience and knowledge to help you reach the best possible solution. And maybe kids are involved. I know that I was divorced a couple of decades ago. My kids were really young. So it's very, very important to have the proper representation and protection. So if you need her help, she's there for you. Call before Christmas. That would be my advice. 314-783-9400, stlfamilylaw.com. The focus on family law, the emphasis on you. Susan L. Ward.
Heidi Ricken Provost of Ricken Financial understands the importance of financial stability in your retirement plans.
If there's something we can do to help benefit your financial future and provide more strength and stability in your retirement plan, that's exactly what we do here. And we do so on a complimentary basis.
Call today, 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens, Sundays at 1 p.m. right here on 97.1 FM Talk.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
This holiday, give the gift that lasts all season long. Cardinals ticket packs are on sale now, starting at 5, 6, and 10 games. All packs include 2026's top games and favorite giveaways. Backed by popular demand, choose from the opening day pack or the bobblehead pack. Check out the Cubs pack, weekend pack, or apparel pack. There's a pack for everyone. Find your perfect gift right now at cardinals.com/tickets.
The holidays come and go, but Cardinals baseball lasts all season long. This year, give the gift of all-inclusive tickets, featuring a full buffet, complimentary bar, and unbeatable views at Busch Stadium. Enjoy great food, good times, and every moment of the action. Choose your experience in the Budweiser 703 Club, UMB Champions Club, Coca-Cola Scoreboard Patio, and more. Make your holidays brighter with all-inclusive tickets. On sale now at cardinals.com/tickets.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Triton Exteriors. Not sure if you've noticed, but the storms seem to be especially bad this spring. If you had James Hardy Smart Siding, you wouldn't have to worry about it. It's not going to be damaged like in the 314-day storm. So we do roofing, siding, gutters, fences. We're always going to be the middle bid. We're never going to cut corners. We're never going to take advantage of you. Call 314-717-1159 or triton-stl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
What the president will tell the nation tonight. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. He offered this preview a short time ago.
Well, I think the message this evening is we inherited a mess, and we've done a great job, and we continue to. And our country is going to be stronger than ever before.
President Trump taking a few questions at Dover Air Force Base after attending a dignified transfer to honor 3 Americans killed in Syria, 2 Iowa National Guard members and an Army interpreter, also meeting with their families. The president's address is scheduled for 9 Eastern tonight. You can hear live coverage at foxnewsradio.com. The search for 2 people continues after the deadly mass shooting at Brown University in Rhode Island. Police asking the public to help find a second person who at some point was near the person of interest they were already looking for.
Now Brown University facing criticism for what appears to be several security lapses. The building where the shooting took place was only partially covered by surveillance cameras, and the doors were unlocked. Brown's president, though, pushing back, saying only the shooter is to blame.
Fox's CB Cotton in Providence, where police are also urging people not to circulate any AI-generated images, calling them not verified or credible. The L.A. County Medical Examiner just confirming the death of actor and director Rob Reiner as a homicide, listing the cause as multiple sharp force injuries. Prosecutors say Reiner and his wife were killed by one of their sons, Nick Reiner, who made a brief first court appearance today wearing a suicide prevention vest. Defense attorney Alan Jackson telling reporters,
"We ask that during this process, you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity."
During today's hearing, Reiner's arraignment was moved to January 7th. America is listening to Fox News.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Picture this. You're on a date, and then bad breath happens. Confidence gone. Here's the truth. Most gums and mints are just bad breath Band-Aids, but not Zellman's Minty Mouth. The functional breath freshener you swallow. Tiny dual-action capsules with mint on the outside, parsley seed oil inside, clinically tested to fight the toughest offenders, even garlic and onions. It's only available online. Go to Zellmans.com, Zelmins, Zellmans.com, code FRESH for 15% off.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A delightful afternoon, mostly sunny and 55. Clouds sweeping quickly tonight, 45. Thursday, clouds, periods of rain, a few rumbles of thunder. Focus on the wet in the morning Thursday and early afternoon. Windy from the northwest as we get into the day. Temperatures dropping through the 40s, 21 Thursday night, but the atmosphere is dry. And 38 and sunny on Friday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, the sun's going to set soon, but it is and has been a beautiful day in St. Louis after some really chilly mornings. And then soon, we're going to have Dave Murray jump on here with us in a minute. You were saying that as we get closer to Christmas, maybe even temperatures that are even warmer than today, right?
Yeah, it's nuts. I've looked at the extended forecast like I do, and it's in the 60s for Christmas.
I remember when I just moved into the house I'm in right now, and when Santa brought Alexa like one of these frozen car, like a little car thing. What do you call it? Like that you can drive.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Alex Rich is here too. You know what I'm talking about? Like the car, that electric little vehicle.
Yeah, one of those little, like they got the little
electric
Jeep ones.
battery one.
That's what it was. Yeah. Right, exactly.
Uh-huh.
But that Christmas, it was in the 60s because I remember going up and down the street, riding in that thing. So you can really get a variety of temperatures around this time of year, as we know, in St. Louis. Dave Murray here to confirm all that. How are you this afternoon, Dave?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good, but we have what? Not snow, but a lot of rain in the forecast for tomorrow. So let's start with that.
Okay, it's not. There is rain, no question about it. It's mainly in the morning, probably ending during the early afternoon. Could be a rumble of thunder. I don't think it's a lot of rain, but it's rain, and we can always use that. And it's all rain. Our temperature, we're only going down to 50 tonight, and during the rain, temperatures will kind of hang in the 50s, and then a northwest wind comes in, and we cool off. We should be about 45 by the time the sun goes down tomorrow.
That's not too bad. All right, so as we go into the weekend and then next week, what are the expectations at this point? It looks like a white Christmas seems out of the question, Dave. Let me go on a limb there, right?
Yeah, I think we can basically stick a fork in that at this point. Now, we will be cold Thursday night. We will be cold on Friday, kind of chilly on Sunday, so kind of a bouncing of temperatures. But right now, it looks like temperatures will be either near or a little bit above average right through the holiday week. Still anticipating a storm system probably closer to New Year's, and it looks like an all-rain event for us, but there will be a big snow across the plains in the upper Midwest from that thing. So, it looks like, at least for the time being, the cold air is not going to get back in here. I think it will. It's just not going to do it during the holiday week.
Well, yeah, it looks very mild and comfortable, and it looks like an opportunity for those of us who might have some time off to hit some golf balls during this time period. Dave, I'd be very happy if I can do that.
Well, it seems, it seems like other than, 20 degrees, that almost any day is an opportunity for you.
That's a good point.
I like that philosophy, Dave. I do. Hey, you have a great Christmas if we don't hook up, but thanks for the update this afternoon.
All right, guys. My
Merry
pleasure.
Christmas.
Take care. Alex, how are you, by the way?
Doing well.
You're a big music guy. I wanted to share something here quickly and promote something I'm going to do on Friday. I'm very excited about the Neil Diamond movie that's coming out called Song Sung Blue. And it's not about Neil Diamond, and this is where I discovered this a few weeks ago when I saw the trailer. It's about a Neil Diamond tribute act, if you will, called Lightning and Thunder from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I knew them. I interviewed Lightning when I was up there. I was trying to think if I ever met them, and I'm not even sure I met them, but I did phone interviews. But they were kind of a thing, Alex, kind of like a bit of a novelty act, but they had a big following in the bars in Milwaukee. And there's this big music festival called Summerfest. It's one of the biggest festivals in the nation. It used to be like 10 days straight. They've changed it a few years ago. Now they do like 3 separate weekends, but they have an amphitheater, which is like what we have here at Riverport, and then they have small stage along the lakefront that other performers are on it. Really, it's a great music festival. So this movie, Song Song Blue, is based on a documentary that a guy named Greg Coase did back in 2011. And he followed Lightning and Thunder, essentially the period that I was in Milwaukee. I was there from 97 until 2006. He followed them from the early 2000s to about, 2010 or so. And they had an immense following up there, and people kind of knew them. They were a thing. So Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam come to Summerfest to perform. And this is in the early days, to a certain extent, of Pearl Jam. And they know about, Lightning and Thunder. So they bring them up on stage at Summerfest. And here's Eddie Vedder here.
You know what? We have another hometown special guest for you. I believe he's fairly famous, and he's here with his wife. And they're going to do a little number for you. And I just hope you enjoy the out of it. And let's bring him out, bring a warm hand for Lightning and Thunder.
So Lightning, his name is Mike Sardina. Thunder, his wife was Claire. She did Patsy Cline standards. But Mike Sardina is a real interesting character, and he's the Neil Diamond guy, right? So he kind of explains how this happened with Eddie Vedder.
Next thing we know, we're being introduced, and we're led out there with a flashlight. Nobody can see us. They don't know what's going on. And I said, hello, Milwaukee. And then I thought, hello, Milwaukee. Like, yeah. Hello, Milwaukee.
The crowd goes crazy.
We're going to need you to clap your hands like this. Everybody. Are you ready? Say yeah.
So then Mike shares the story in the documentary. And by the way, I want to point this out. I'm going to have Greg on the air on Friday. You can watch the documentary that this movie is based on. And the way I understand it, it's essentially a remake of the documentary. Yeah. So it's not only inspired by the documentary, but it's a remake. But listen to Mike kind of explain the situation with a guy that he didn't even know, named Eddie Vedder.
And we got to actually be in it. He said, do you know who I am? I said, no. He said, you ever heard of Pearl Jam? I said, yeah, I've heard of them. And he says, but you don't know who I am? I said, no. He says, that's good. And I said, okay. I said, well, who are you? He said, I'm Eddie Vedder. And I shook his hand, and he said, we should do Song Sung Blue. I said, I gotta be honest with you. This crowd ain't about Song Sung Blue. I think they're more about Forever in Blue Jeans. He said, what's that?
Well, and Eddie doesn't even know the lyrics. He's got like a songbook with him. There he is singing it. And he's laughing the whole time he sings, just having a great time.
And he's sitting there on a stool with his legs crossed, and he's reading the words. And I'm like, Daddy, go for it.
And I think they picked the right song, didn't they?
Yeah.
And I got to tell you something, because I rewatched the documentary, and I forgot how the documentary ended. And I don't know if the film, which will star Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, it will open up a week from today. I don't know if the film will stay true to the ending of the documentary, but I hope that it will, because there's more to the Eddie Vedder story. And Greg Coase, who's the documentarian, and he had an amazing, successful career. He was doing stuff for Harley Davidson when I was in Milwaukee. You know, they would have the big anniversary. I was there for the 90th, 95th, and 100th, I think. I think I was there for 3 different anniversaries, maybe 2. But anyway, Greg worked for NFL Films, and this became kind of a passion project for him. But what I told you a few weeks ago is that when he was trying to release the documentary, he didn't have the music rights, and he had no connection with Neil Diamond. Well, Mike Sardina, because of that Summerfest appearance with Eddie Vedder, had Eddie Vedder's contact, and he had it in his phone as EV, and he transferred that to Greg Coase. So Greg, literally the night before this movie, Song Sung Blue, is supposed to play at a music festival in 2011, or a movie festival, they get a call from the lawyers saying, you can't do it. So he reaches out to EV, and Eddie Vedder answers the phone and says, I'll try. The next thing you know, Neil Diamond is on the phone saying, I saw the movie, I loved it, use my music. And now, 15 years later, it's turning into a major motion picture from Hollywood with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. And Kate Hudson was nominated for a Golden Globe, I think for a Critics' Choice Award for Best Supporting Actress. She plays Claire, and it's, what I'll tell you, Sue, too, is this is not a happy story. The whole story is not happy.
Oh.
There are happy aspects, but they had... this does not ruin the film because it happens right at the beginning. Claire was just gardening in her front yard in South Milwaukee, and a car ran up on her yard and took her out, and she lost her leg because of it.
Oh, my gosh.
And this was in the middle of Lightning and Thunder, kind of hitting a high in their career, and that caused them to take this. So the story is amazing, but just Google Song Sung Blue documentary on YouTube, and the whole film, the original film that it's based on, will come up. You can watch it for free. Greg Coase is going to join me on Friday afternoon.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got an accident on southbound 55 south of 141. They've been blocking the right lanes. Traffic is just jammed behind it. Now, the other serious jam is on eastbound 64 from Jefferson to the Poplar Street Bridge, where the left lane is down for road work. And that's created a jam on northbound 55. That goes back past 44. 44 westbound is jammed in front of the Arch grounds. We've got westbound 64 lined up. It's Kings Highway already in pockets all the way out through 70. Northbound 170, accident reported north of the Forest Park Parkway. That's created a jam behind it. 70 westbound, really not bad out of downtown, but some moderate volume in pockets out through the 70 split. Southbound 270, slow pockets from Page down through 21. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic. This report is brought to you by The Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. Check their website for extended holiday hours. That's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Want to guide you into some expert real estate help here in St. Louis, and that's Mark and Neil Gelman with the Gelman team. They're my friends. They have been for a long time. They've been my realtors, too, and they should be your realtors moving into 2026 if you're looking to buy a new home or sell a home. Now, you might be sitting back thinking, it's tough because the rates are still not as low as they were. Who's selling their homes? And then how much do I have to pay to get into my next home? Can I do that without moving twice? All of these things are very stressful. But the good news is you have a team with the Gelmans here in St. Louis that have been doing this for so long. They can make all of this very seamless and work with you on your schedule and your expectations. Look, if you're looking for an instant cash offer, they can provide that as well. If you're looking for a little insight into what you would list the house for, if you go to the GelmanTeam.com, there's a tool on that page that says, what's the real current value of your home? Thinking about selling, find your home or condo's value in today's market for free. So you enter your address, a pop-up comes up, and you can check the price out right away. And then if you need the Gelman's help, they're there for you. They're experts in St. Louis. If you can hear my voice, they can help sell your home and help you buy a new one. TheGelmanTeam.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
The ACA Market Plan has just announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks, copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg, and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
What's up, world? It's Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP, chicken farmer, and now host of Free Range. This is a show where I go off the field and off the script. We're talking what's hot in music, film, trending news, and everything blowing up your feed. If you love football, you'll feel at home. But if you're here for the vibes, the internet deep dives, the conversation, this is your podcast. Join me every Wednesday. Follow and listen to Free Range with me, Von Miller, everywhere you get your podcast.
Fast-paced, fact-based, and never boring. This is the Mark Reardon Show.
Wednesday afternoon on 97.1 FM Talk. We got Sue's News coming up here. And then after that, Alex Rich will stay and hang in the studio. I have a quiz, a workplace quiz for the team this afternoon. It's about behavior at work. Raise your hand if you think I'm going to be the one who fails.
Yeah.
I think you're probably pretty right about that.
Hey, I like the music here.
Thank you. Well, we got a little Christmas music that we're moving in here for the time being as we get closer to Christmas Day. But let's do this afternoon.
These allegations are deeply concerning.
Does the president have any comment?
We're not going to comment.
It's not clear messaging.
No.
And now, Sue's News. Brought to you by Sue.
Well, it's National Wright Brothers Day. And this is because on this day in history, I love this so much. 122 years ago, in 1903, Wilbur and Orville Wright took their first flight and proved that man could fly. Now, Orville piloted their Flyer 1 airplane. It was a 12-second flight over Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. The entire distance they covered in the air was shorter than the wingspan of a 747 today.
Wow, I didn't know it was that short.
Yes.
That offers perspective.
It does.
Yeah.
And when you think about that happening in the time, I guess in the century that at least three of us were born, it's kind of shocking to think how far we've come in so little amount of time. I mean, it changed the entire world. We can fly wherever the heck we want.
Not only that, but it still makes my brain hurt to see, like, not only the jets that we travel in for, recreation or vacations or whatever, but 747s, whatever they might be, but some of these big cargo planes, to think that they can actually get off the ground and go into the air
unbelievable
and fly.
It really is.
It's like an apartment building taking off.
Yes.
It's crazy.
And just to think that it all came from two brothers who owned a bicycle shop and tried it out and figured it. It's amazing.
I know the simple answer, obviously, is that it's like aerodynamics and like those different things.
Right,
but dude, honestly,
I know.
Right.
Think about it.
You are
That's
flying.
crazy.
I have, and that's why I'm admitting that my brain hurts when I think about it.
It's scary when you think about
a train,
it. It is.
Let's think about a train. Oh, there's tracks and there's an engine. That seems to make sense. Cars make sense
and
to
we're
me.
on the ground.
Honestly, it's
makes
crazy
sense.
to me how like they even get TVs to work. Like,
same.
you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yes. One thing I'm still amazed that huge cruise ships float. They're so big.
I know.
There's giant cities.
Yeah.
So how we all hurtle through the air with other people and fly, it's just mind-boggling.
It's something.
David McCullough's book, The Wright Brothers, is amazing. If you haven't read it, it's not too long, Mark. I highly recommend it. So if you're looking for a final Christmas gift, it's really
Are there
good.
pictures, Sue? Are there pictures in there for me?
There are a few.
Okay, good.
Yeah, just a couple.
Let me ask you this, Mark. Just a quick question. If I were to like record, if I were to get this book and record the audio tape of it, how much would you pay me for the audio tape of it?
Zero.
Okay.
Why would you even do that? There's
That's
probably
why
an
I'm
audio version
you know,
already.
Yeah.
Well, you think I don't read because I just want to listen to things? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, that was, I think, the
It's not it.
inference. No?
No.
I'm not a reader really either.
Okay, thanks. I'm not going to offer up
I can't let him
excuses
go
for I
down
don't read
himself.
books.
Yeah.
Well, you could just
There's
take
just other things we like to do.
You could take a road trip and listen, right? Go to Chicago.
See,
anyone?
I've never
Bueller?
done an audiobook. I just
Really?
I just haven't taken that stuff. People like it.
My
Right?
wife
do.
listens to him while she's like
Yeah.
cooking and stuff.
Yes.
But man, some of the ones she's listening to are like, it'll be crazy. Like it'll get like raunchy in there a little bit, and
Oh.
I'm like, what did they just say?
Oh, you like?
Wow.
It's not
She's
even
not-
like supposed to be. She's like, the book's not even like that. It's
Right.
like,
You're listening
I
because
just
she
catch
doesn't
the-
have it on the headphones. There's
She just
Yeah,
plays
she's
it
got
out
it
of
in
her
the
phone.
speaker.
Out of her phone. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old speaker phone.
It's also National Maple Syrup Day. I'm not really a syrup person. Fred, what do you put on your breakfast? Is it pancakes or waffles you make?
I'm good at making waffles.
That's
mini
right.
waffles.
Mini waffles.
Syrup
That's
is. I'm all over it.
Okay,
Yep.
do you like the real maple? You know.
Oh no, I
thin
like the
stuff?
real maple. Like
Okay.
from New Hampshire, that sort of thing.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Fred.
sure.
You're an elitist.
I don't have a
I'll
particular
still
state
take
that
the-
I favor. But
You'll take the Aunt Jemima?
I'll take the Walmart $1.69 syrup as well.
Oh, all right.
Fred likes what did you like there? Connecticut? Is that the one? Or?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
I'll take Vermont for my syrup,
yeah,
but I
uh-huh.
do like syrup a lot. Yes.
Okay. And it's also National Say It Now Day. Now, this means you're supposed to tell friends and loved ones how important they are to you just before the holidays.
Mark, let's tell Sue how important she
You're
is.
very important to us, Sue. Is this in
Yes.
lieu? By the way,
Wink, wink.
I'm going to do this a lot today. If this is in lieu of gifts.
Oh, dear. And 50.
Alex,
I mean,
I just want to say, Alex, that you've had a
Yeah.
great year. You had a wedding year.
Yeah.
I didn't
boy.
come. I ditched out on that.
You
but
did.
God bless you.
You know,
I'm not getting you anything for Hanukkah or Christmas.
I don't have a
Shocker.
single nice thing to say about you.
Well, that's the
It
spirit.
makes our job easy over here,
Hey,
Mark.
by the way, I did finally send
He
a
did.
gift.
He did.
I don't think I got the thank you for the damn gift yet either.
I think
Is that
you
still
might have.
coming? Really?
I think Becky
I don't
probably
open.
got
I don't
it.
open mail very often. It's probably in the mail that
I
haven't
know
opened.
that I definitely sent one because I think I wrote something along the lines of like,
I'm
you know,
shocked.
Thanks for being 3 months late.
Thanks so much. You know, you saved me the trouble of you even actually having to come to the wedding, so it worked out for
Well,
everyone.
and you know that sucked that I didn't come to a wedding in all seriousness because I was sick during the summer and that was when I was at my worst. So I just wanted to clear up the gift issue.
Yeah,
though.
no, I appreciate it.
This story has some music to save us. On this day in history, 54 years ago, 1971, David Bowie released his fourth album. And the album title is Hunky Dory, but it features changes.
And I think this one would qualify as my favorite David Bowie song. I do like China Girl quite a bit, but
Yeah.
this is always the one I would go back to, I think. Did you say this was 1971?
Yes.
Wow.
And
When was that
also
album?
on this album was Life on Mars. I'm not familiar with that. Are
Well,
you?
I'm not either. No.
Mark, do you know it?
I know the record, but I don't think I could sing it for you right now.
Well, I didn't.
But I'm
wanted
just shocked by the
71.
fact that was 71.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little later in the 70s.
I know. And also on this day in history, 25 years ago, so that's easy, 2000, Terrell Owens set the NFL record for the most receptions in a single game. If you remember this, he had 20 catches, and the 49ers beat the Bears 17-0. That was 25 years ago today. All right, this is interesting. Well, maybe just to me. Someone polled 30,000 Americans, and a full 1/3 admitted they save wrapping paper and you reuse it. What? Isn't it too wrinkly?
I
What's
save
happening?
bags. I
Yeah.
save gift bags.
Crowd's not a
I
fan
will
of
do
that.
that.
Yeah.
That makes no sense to save the wrapping paper that's crinkled.
Depends, though.
30% of people do that?
Have you ever opened
Yeah.
something that's got really quality wrapping paper? My
Yes.
sister-in-law and brother-in-law use really I mean, it's thick.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
thick paper.
Yes.
So sometimes if it just naturally tears a nice way, then maybe you fold it up with the tissue paper and you put it in the gift bags and you just maybe keep a couple. But
To
for me,
repurpose?
it's hard.
Like a
it's hard to
zhuzh.
say to keep wrapping paper. That is pretty crazy.
Well, they say that of these third that actually keep it, only 18% say they reuse it. Another 16% say they keep it, but rarely end up using it. So I don't know.
Because it's not
I'm
practical.
with you on the bags.
Right, yeah.
And the bags are key. I don't think I get actually mad when I have to buy a gift bag because I
you
I feel like I should have something that fits just about every sized thing that you'd need. A gift bag is an easy thing to store.
It is.
An easy thing to reuse. To me, a gift bag, it's like you go spend like $8-9 on a gift bag sometimes,
You can
right?
reuse those.
Yeah, the thing is, you got to get the paper to fluff it. And if you don't have that, then it's
Excuse
all
me?
over.
Mm-hmm.
What do they
Fluff
do?
it.
Is that a word?
Uh-huh. The final minted set of pennies sold for big bucks yesterday. They ran off of the mint, and they came off, and these pennies went for $16.76 million. They had estimated that they'd go for $5 million because it was the last ever set of pennies.
My question is why?
Yeah, who cares? Right?
No, you guys have no sense of history, right?
Well,
Somebody wanted that.
But $16 million?
Well, not at one shot.
Cent. It's worth 1 penny.
They sold it in sets of 3.
Okay.
So you could get a little piece. The sets included a 2025 penny struck at the Philadelphia Mint that had like a 2025 D, and it was supposed to be fancy with a Greek letter on it. Ugh. So if you are into that, what do you call it?
Point collectors.
Coin collectors. Then you
Numerologists?
love that. No, it's not numerologists. And finally, in Sue's News, we have today's random fact. It's one for Mark. Pop-Tarts sales have gone up every year from 1982 to 2014, and it's possible they're still going up. 2014 is just the last time Kellogg's announced Pop-Tart sales.
Wait.
They sold it to Mars, Inc.
Oh.
Mars owns it
I've
since
been
2023.
trying to keep them very, very happy with my Pop-Tart purchases.
I'm Dan Loney with Your Money Now. OpenAI is reportedly in discussions with Amazon about a potential investment and an agreement to use its artificial intelligence chips. The details are still fluid and subject to change, but the investment could exceed $10 billion. The discussions come after OpenAI completed a restructuring in October. Oil prices are on watch today after the White House called for a full blockade of tankers leaving Venezuela. President Trump has also looked to designate the current Venezuelan government as a foreign terrorist organization. Wall Street saw red ink across the board today. The Dow Industrial Average down 228 points, finishing the session at 47,886. The Nasdaq lost 418, and the S&P 500 was down 78. And shares of General Mills were up 3 1/3% today. The food industry giant, which makes Cheerios and other brands, posted a beat on quarterly earnings and revenue. That's Your Money Now.
Today, I'm here with Amy Rencher, Senior Vice President of Small Business and Talent at the Michigan Economic Development Corporation.
The Michigan Economic Development Corporation, or the MEDC as we like to call it, plays a critical role in really a networked statewide approach to supporting tech-based entrepreneurs and more traditional small businesses across the state of Michigan. This really is a networked approach. We see ourselves as a convener, connector among partners to export resources, helping lift up best practice across the field, align with national standards, industry standards for best-in-class service to entrepreneurs for benchmarking purposes, for access to capital, for other growth-related milestones, hiring for the first time, hiring many people for the first time. All these things help make for a rich entrepreneurial ecosystem for which we're a key player in.
To hear more of this interview with Amy Rencher from MEDC, go to thismorningwithgordondeal.com and click on the MEDC microphone.
We're coming up on Christmas very quickly here. Christmas has been and always has been a religious holiday for a lot of people throughout the world. And if not religious, just a celebration for family and friends. It's also the time of year where, while you might be enjoying or you like the holidays, there's people that are suffering, which this time of year is a really, really hard time of year for them. There's people that are suffering this Christmas because this could be their first Christmas without their loved one, husband, wife, mother, father, child, or their second, third, fourth, 10th, 12th Christmas. So for every one of us that believe in God, and we do pray, remember that in your prayers daily, and hopefully that helps and makes a difference and makes it a little bit better in somebody's life that is suffering right now. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. God bless.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
And at 4:32, this portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Well, they're still looking for the suspect in the Brown University shooting. We've had a couple of updates on that today. You know, Fred, yesterday when we were watching this, and this became kind of like a meme.
Did it really?
Yeah, because it's so entertaining sometimes I get distracted. And this happened in Providence yesterday with the news conference, where what they do is they have the interpreter, doing the sign language right next to the police chief. And this person that was doing it yesterday, I saw some tweets that said they're just doing fake sign language. I don't believe it was fake sign language, but she's so animated.
Yeah, she's into it.
It looks like she's telling her own story. I mean, she's literally like a foot away from the police chief, and she was a little, no disrespect to the interpreter, a little scary looking. So she's gone viral because of that reason. But they still don't have the shooter, unfortunately. Duane Patterson will join us after 5 o'clock to talk politics. We'll get his thoughts on what might happen tonight. By the way, we're going to air the president's address tonight. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to be able to watch the Survivor finale. If Trump's going to screw up the Survivor finale,
okay, they're stopping it.
What are they going to do,
they'll pick
Fred?
it up as soon as it's over.
Oh, really?
So they're going to take a Trump timeout.
Is that what they say?
And then come back for the
TTO.
Oh, smart. Jeff Probst is pissed about that.
TTO.
That's interesting. So are they assuming that the speech is going to be under 90 minutes? Because I don't know if I would anticipate that. So in other words, I'll be watching Survivor at about 1:30 in the morning. Okay. Here's a question for the team that really should be pointed at me, but I'll ask it to you anyway because I'm the one that's going to read you the quiz. Do you know Alex Rich, Sue Thomas, Fred Bottomer, Ethan Hannaford? Do you know how to behave at work? That's the question from the Wall Street Journal.
Depends.
You think so? We're going to test those skills. Yeah. So here's the first question for you. This was an interactive quiz. I have not taken it yet, so we'll kind of do this in a group manner, and we'll see if we can come up with a consensus, all right? Consensus picks. Your phone rings or vibrates while you're in a business meeting or on a Zoom call. What do you do? Do you excuse yourself from the meeting, then check your phone? Do you silence and ignore it until the meeting is over to check your phone? Do you check to see who's texting or calling during the meeting? People understand. Do you turn off your phone or switch to Do Not Disturb mode before any business meeting? Would you like to answer?
I think the answer is probably supposed to be the last one. I'm not sure that anybody really does that.
There's a lot of variables here, in my opinion.
Yeah. I would say silence and ignore it until the meeting is over.
Yeah, I would too, but to go a level deeper, it depends on the importance of the meeting.
Yep.
The
importance of the phone call.
Right. Yes, exactly. So there's different variables here, but I think that the general one probably is put it on Do Not Disturb.
Right. Because, look, this gets me to think about a little strategy for the next meeting that we're supposed to have. We're actually supposed to have one tomorrow. Tricia said, we're having a staff meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. Did you know that, Fred?
You need me to call?
I think it's been canceled.
It has, thank God. Because, she said this to me yesterday. I'm like, oh, that's great. Can't wait. But can I do mine on Zoom? And, I think I was pretty clear in my messaging that can you cancel that meeting because no one really wants to do it. So she read the room and she canceled it. But I would probably say check to see who's texting or calling. People will understand. But should I say turn your phone off or switch to do that? So we'll do that. We'll do that one here. That's wrong. It's silence and ignore it until the meeting is over. I should have gone with my gut there.
Yep.
Well, why would you not turn your phone off?
Yeah, what's the difference? Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. You can keep your camera off on a Zoom call with coworkers if no one asks for it to be on. True or false?
I'd say true.
All right, it says correct. True. If the host wants to see everyone's face, the host should say so beforehand. False. Even if it isn't required, it's courtesy to others to have your camera on. Be polite. No, I don't agree with that.
It depends how big the meeting is.
This is what it says, Ethan. You beat me to the punch. It says
and sometimes
it depends. If you're not on camera ready or if you have distractions going on behind you, you shouldn't be put on camera. And then finally, I'm not speaking much, so I don't need to have the camera on, or I will turn it on when it's my turn to speak. The final answer that I would give is this. I'm at family golf hitting golf balls. I don't want you to see that I'm doing that. I'm only going to listen in my ear.
I think everybody
I've done
is
that
aware.
many times.
Yeah.
Okay, should we say false? It's not required. It's a courtesy.
Yeah.
You ever seen those videos of people that put green screens behind them when they're actually like at the beach or like doing
funny.
something crazy like snowboarding, but it like looks like they're in their like office or something?
I had my friend John Lynch, who I believe is in Todos Santos, Mexico right now. During COVID, his kids were with him, and they were doing some of the the stuff because they couldn't be in class. And they were literally doing it on this beautiful beach, Los Cerritos Beach. And the class and the professor thought it was a fake background. But it was like
that's
that.
funny.
It was totally real. Anyway, the answer was false, even if it's not required. It's a courtesy to others to have your camera on. I disagree.
That was the answer?
Yeah, I'm not putting the camera
This thing's
on.
over 2.
Forget about the other people.
I'm
Question
1
number
and 1.
3. Right, exactly. Thank you. Question number 3. Someone you want to impress extends their hand, but moments ago you saw the person wipe their nose with that hand. What do you do? This is a very good question, especially cold and flu season. Yuck, don't offer your hand to shake, just decline. 2, say that you have a cold and you're not shaking hands right now. Offer a fist bump or your elbow instead. Shake the person's hand, then wash your hands at the soonest opportunity. No, I'd say yuck, don't offer your hand to shake, just decline. I might try a fist bump too, though.
Yeah, I've been a fist bumper lately a little bit more than I had been.
You're telling me if someone you're trying to impress puts out their hand, you're going to say no? You guys are crazy.
Okay, you know what? Ethan's smart here because he dialed into the specifics of the question. The question was specifically someone you want to impress. So, should I say... Shake the person's hand and wash it.
You shake that hand and you take the L.
I'm going to do it. You're going to take the hit. You're going to get, the flu. You're going to maybe die because you're too old, but you're going to shake that hand because it's someone you want to impress.
I die an honorable man.
Here we go. You got the right answer.
Yep.
That is right.
Dang right I did.
I would not do that. I don't care who
What
it
if
is.
they got full like booger on their hand or something?
You know, if I had my own show, maybe I wouldn't either. But I don't, so
that's a good point.
Here's another question.
But I'm with you.
You're replying. Good answer though. But you focus in on the impressed part because it's not like your average person coming out of the.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Yeah, it is. Okay, you're replying to a business associate's email. This would require me to look at my work email. But let's say you're replying to a business associate's email. Is it appropriate to include a smile, thumbs up, heart, or other emoji? 1, that's inappropriate in a professional message. You use your words. 2, that's appropriate. Emojis help communicate the tone you want to convey. 3, it depends on how well you know the recipient. 4, basic emojis are fine, like the smiley face, but avoid others to avoid potential misinterpretation. I would say that's appropriate. Emojis help communicate the tone you want to convey.
Yeah. I'd say it depends how well you know the person.
I think that one's what
Agreed.
I'd say.
All right, which one should I say? It depends on how well you know the person.
How well you know them.
Okay, I'll click that one. Right, you guys are right. I'm wrong again. That's excellent. Question number 5. Your workplace doesn't have a strict dress code.
Okay.
It couldn't be this place.
Is it fine to wear sneakers, leggings, or jeans as long as they are styled nicely? Number 1, correct. If the company doesn't forbid it, anything goes. Society is more casual now anyway. I don't think that's the answer. Number 2, even without a strict dress code, avoid items like sneakers, jeans, flip-flops, or leggings in the office. Number 3, in lieu of a dress code that spells out do's and don'ts, ask more senior colleagues or HR what is and what isn't acceptable. And then number 4, try to emulate what your boss wears to work. I think the answer might be even without a strict dress code, avoid items like sneakers, jeans, flip-flops, or leggings in the office. But we work in a radio station, so everyone does that.
I wear flip-flops with my jeans.
I think as long as it's, fits you well, I think it's fair game.
So correct, it says society is more casual. I'm going to go with correct. If the company doesn't forbid it, anything goes?
No.
That sounds
that's definitely
I don't
gonna be
think
wrong.
that's the right answer.
So what's the right answer here?
Probably the one Sue said.
Even without a strict dress code, avoid items like
Yeah.
that? All right, we'll do that. That's wrong.
Oh.
Okay, it says, in lieu of a dress code that spells out do's and don'ts, ask more senior colleagues or HR what is and isn't acceptable. Stop it. I have to talk to HR too much as it is. I'm not going to go to HR and ask them a question. I get sent
You don't
there
even
all the
have an
time.
HR.
No, we really.
Well, we do out of town, believe me. I can promise you. Question number 6.
He would know.
And he has Zoom meetings. It's his favorite.
Question number 6. You're working from home. Alex. There's no need to dress up for Zoom calls with coworkers, right? Correct. It would be different if you were meeting with clients or upper management. No, things were more permissible during the pandemic, but those days are over. 3, dress professionally when hopping on the call. You can go back to wearing a T-shirt afterward. That's probably the right answer.
That's got to be it.
Ask the meeting host if there's a dress code for the call, but we're going to say dress professionally.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah.
Okay, I dress like John Fetterman for most of these things, but yes, that is the correct answer. Question number 7. You want to meet with someone, should you send them I don't even know what this word is, a Calendly?
What?
C-A-L-E-N-D.
Oh, it's like a thing that it's, what's the next option?
Like
It says-
a calendar invite?
Should
It's
you
like
send them
they
a
can-
Calendly with your schedule to book a time?
Yeah, it's like they can click on an open time on your calendar and
Oh.
automatically book it.
Okay.
It's kind of a little bit, to me, maybe a pompous way to say, here's
Yeah.
my,
Okay.
Agreed.
But let's hear more
All right,
options.
so the answers are yes. This is the most convenient way to find a meeting time that works for them. No, giving the recipient a range of dates and times you're available, then ask what works for them. 3, kind of. Kind of. Give the person the option to book on your scheduling tool or ask if they prefer if you send them a calendar link. That could be it. No, ask the recipient to let you know what time works for them.
I think the second one that
No,
you
give
said,
the recipient a range of dates. We'll go
Give
with
them
that.
a
think
That
that's
is
the
correct.
best.
Good,
Yeah.
good job. You got that
I'm good
correct.
at my job, Mark.
That way, because what you don't want to happen is just say, hey, throw me out a time that works, and then that time doesn't work for you.
Yeah.
Because then you just feel dumb. Like, actually, that doesn't work for me.
Question number 8 here. You are participating in a phone or video call in an open plan office. The polite way is to, I guess that's like where it's just
Yeah.
not offices.
We
and
have an
stuff?
open plan over
Okay.
there
Is
on
that
that
what we
side.
have? No one's ever over there, so I didn't know
Yeah.
that. Does that qualify when
Well,
no
then
one's in the open plan
well, yeah,
office?
because it's open. Because
Got it.
I know the answer.
It's open
what
because
it's going to
there's
be.
nobody there.
Yeah, nobody should take their calls out in the public.
The polite
Open
way
there.
is to apologize to nearby colleagues in advance. That gives them a chance to get up or put headphones on. Keep your voice and the speaker volume low. Find a private area such as a booth to conduct the call. Take the call. Apologize to your neighboring coworkers afterward. No, I would say find a private area,
Yeah.
right? Let's say.
Which not many people do over there.
That is correct. Question number 9.
I tell you, there's a few culprits.
You want to drop any names?
Yeah, I would name names if I were you.
Judith does it quite a bit.
Ooh,
Judith's
Anderson
probably maybe
getting
listening.
called out. Yep.
Yeah, but Judith knows she does it. And Judith, she'll apologize.
She runs that side of the building.
Well,
She
here's what
does
I would
at
say,
times, yeah.
and I said this a couple of weeks ago. Without Judith Anderson, I would be homeless. So
Yeah.
God bless her, because
Yeah.
between Judith and Alex and a couple other people like Julia, then I would not
Well,
have
I've
a
heard her
life.
conversations about you.
No, she's an account rep here, and she has a lot of my sponsors, and she keeps me going, believe me, and it's very much appreciated. And we have a lot in common with music. At a networking event, you'd like to have a drink or a beverage, but you also want to be able to shake hands. You should hold the item in the hand you don't shake with, so that your handshaking hand isn't wet and clammy. I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
Put your drink down on the table or floor, then shake hands. Bump elbows instead of shaking hands.
No.
Skip the drink. You won't have to worry about the awkward hand moments. My answer would be hold the item in the hand that you don't shake with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd agree with it.
Okay, and that is correct.
Yay.
We're doing
Good
pretty
work,
well
team.
here.
Good work, team.
All right, one final question.
It does
here.
trouble you though when you're like you got an appetizer and you got a drink in
Yeah.
one hand and the snack in the other.
Yep.
Okay,
That's when
troubling.
bumping elbows comes in handy.
It is when I was gonna say it's when bumping elbows.
This next one might be the toughest on the quiz, right? And maybe that's why it's the final question. And I think we may have all dealt with this in the past, so I think that maybe the answers will be interesting. A colleague has a body odor problem. The best response is, 1, find a discreet way to tell the person about the problem directly without involving others. 2, report it to human resources. 3, tell your manager so the manager can address it. 4, you shouldn't say anything you don't know what's going on in that person's life.
I've had to report this before.
I'd probably
Tell your
say
manager?
tell your manager.
Yeah, I
me
agree.
too.
Yeah.
Let the manager deal with it.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to click that. That's wrong.
What is it?
They say, I don't believe it. Find a discreet way to tell the person about the problem directly
I
without
feel like
involving
that's
others.
the exact opposite of what our HR videos tell us to do.
Right.
Not that I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, I get
watching
it.
every step of the way,
Well,
but
what's a discreet way? Like to put a can of Lysol on their desk and wrap it up or something like that?
Merry Christmas.
Or some anniversary?
what is a discreet way?
I don't know.
I don't know that it exists.
Do you say, have you tried this new, you should try this new cologne that I've been...
Seriously, how would you tell
I don't know.
somebody that?
That's a great question.
How in the world would you approach that?
Mark, what would you say?
Even someone. Look, I've been confronted with this, and I think most of the time what's happened is I've just ignored it because it's an embarrassing situation, and you don't want to be the person that person thinks.
Would it be a different situation if it's somebody in the studio here and you're in a closed
every day?
And you're in a smaller space?
I think you guys know me well enough to say that if that were to happen, I would address it immediately. And yes, something there'd
probably be explicits involved.
Yes, there would be. Yes, I wouldn't let something like that go.
So we're all safe.
But it's. Yeah, you guys, you'd know right away.
Pushing the line a little bit.
But
what if it? Well, I don't know.
But think about it, Alex. You are. Sometimes you're in situations where it's. Look, I got to tell you something. When I went, and I don't know how I survived this. There was a moment that I didn't think I was. I went, as you know, to Spain with a group of listeners, and part of that trip was going to see Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, the opening night of the European tour. So I'm in this huge stadium where they held the Olympics in Barcelona, and there's 80,000 people. And this dude wanders into the row in front of me, okay?
Europe, all bets are off, man.
And he does not, I don't even think he has a ticket for that row. And he smells so bad that I did not think I was going to be able to, honest to God,
get it.
I was going to move my seat.
That's awful.
The person who was next to him, I could tell, she couldn't take it. She left. She got up and left and never came back. What this did was, all right, so if you envision the row, I'm
Maybe
in a row.
That's his plan.
But listen, so I'm in the row. My friends are next to me. The guy, when I was catching that guy's wind, he was to the right and to the front of me. As soon as he moved over to the left where that woman was, I didn't catch the wind, and I was safe for the rest of the show. But honest to God, he smelled so bad, I don't know how anyone could have lasted the whole time. But the wind, it was just a movement of like 4 spots in the, the seats.
And she was directly downwind. That must have been.
It was awful.
That's nobody
terrible.
Said, are there people that can't? Is it like universal? Like we all can agree when somebody smells, or do some people truly just not get a whiff of certain things?
Yeah, I think it's maybe that.
I don't know.
Because it blows my mind how people walk around sometimes smelling so bad.
I would agree with you. We got to take a break.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads, we've got a real slow go on southbound 61 tonight at Lee May Ferry. That's because of an earlier accident on 55 south of 141. Now, that's been cleared and traffic is fine, but people took that as an alternate. And southbound 141 is pretty slow between Gravois and 21. Southbound 55 lines up Arsenal down past Bates. But the worst of it is if you're headed into Illinois on 64. We've got road work in the left lane on the Poplar. It's created a jam that goes back through Jefferson. And westbound 40 lines up. It's Kings Highway out through McCausland, but then in pockets all the way out. Eastbound, and when I say that, it's all the way out through 70. Eastbound is slowing on either side of 170. And 55 is slow at the Poplar, and it's jammed back onto 44. 44 is heavy and slow in front of the Arch grounds. If you're leaving downtown on 70, it's just moderate volume in pockets from the city on out. This report is brought to you by Aspen Contracting, roofsbyaspen.com. Is your home siding cracked, faded, or storm damaged? Aspen has the materials, manpower, and project managers to get the job done. Don't let your home become an eyesore. Call them today for a free inspection, 636-465-1696. I'm Sue Thomas. That's Traffic 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
So Duane Patterson is going to join us after the top of the hour. He is weighing in on the odor in the office issue. He thinks we have it all wrong, so he's going to try to set us straight after the top of the hour. Stay tuned for that. We'll see.
I wonder if that means he's stinky.
Yeah,
of course not, Duane.
We can ask Hugh Hewitt. He would confirm.
Are you nearing retirement and starting to wonder if you're truly prepared? Because most of us save, and that's great. That's what you're supposed to do. But then when you get closer, you think, wait a minute, do I know how to work the system here? Do I know how to deal with taxes in retirement? How do I know that my money is going to last me for retirement? Well, you need to understand how things work. And that's where financial and tax architects come in. FTA, they create plans for people who need them in retirement. And what they do, first of all, is hold a class. It's called Retirement Planning 101 that takes you through a few of these things so you'll start to understand how retirement works. You have to register, but the class is free. Go to fta-ria.com to reserve your seat today. You will be happier about retirement.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com.
If you are looking for the best eye care in the St. Louis area, that's easy. It's Ophthalmology Associates at youridoc.com. You can call and make an appointment at 314-966-5000. It could be just for a regular eye checkup. I always recommend that. Maybe you have some scratchy, itchy eyes right now. It could be dry eye, and they can easily diagnose that and get you some drops to fix that. Maybe it's something a little bit more serious like cataracts or glaucoma, or you're interested in modern LASIK, which is really, really good. They have an optical shop at Ophthalmology Associates, and they have a great team. The doctors, we call them, because so many doctors, more than 250, they go to the Doctors Ophthalmology Associates with Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersani, and Andrew Royer. Make an appointment today. Maybe take advantage of some of your healthcare savings money you have left over here at the end of the year. 966-5000, youridoc.com for Ophthalmology Associates.
Visit 971talk.com/events and enjoy Trans-Siberian Orchestra, a Christmas tradition at Enterprise Center December 23rd. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Visit 971talk.com.
No one remembers the tie, the sweater, or the pair of socks they received last year for the holidays, but they will remember the year they learned how to play the piano. Hi, this is Kathy from Lacefield Music. And every year in January, Lacefield Music opens their exciting and innovative 8-week adult piano classes to the public for the incredible price of only $29.99 for all 8 weeks. This class is usually $100, but in January, the classes will be $29.99 for all 8 weeks. With Lacefield Music's adult piano classes, you will learn how to read music, play your favorite songs, and you will play with both your right and your left hand the very first week. This year, instead of buying your loved one more things, buy them an experience and fulfill the dream of learning to play the piano. Class sizes are limited and are filling fast, so call 636-778-2070 for more information, or go to lacefieldmusic.com. That's lacefieldmusic.com to sign up.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You know, there's a certain way we do things around here, the Grasser way.
The Grasser way?
We don't cut corners and we don't take shortcuts. Not on the little stuff and not on the big stuff.
We do the big stuff.
That's right. Whole home generators that kick on the moment the grid gives up. Lights stay on, heat stays on, your family stays safe, so your house stays warm.
And your ice cream stays frozen.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeServices.com.
This holiday season, when you get them Steel, batteries are included. Buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for gift ideas and seasonal savings. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
You're listening to The Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, we got to wrap up this hour because we're running a little late on time. Alex, I hope you're having a nice Hanukkah.
Yeah, I am.
You're
so I am. I appreciate it. You as well. You're what, like the 1.3% a year or something?
I got
it was something.
No, come on, man. 3% Ashkenazi.
Sorry.
So I'm in the tribe. I'm a member.
It's been a good Hanukkah so far.
What will you do for Christmas? Like, will there be anything?
We'll go to Annie's family's house. They do Christmas. It's actually nice because we don't have to fight over where we're going for Christmas.
Right.
My family doesn't do Christmas, so we go to her family's house.
That makes it easy.
But we light the candles every night in my household. We make it a whole event. I'm actually throwing a big Hanukkah party this weekend at Ballpark Village at Sports and Social. It's St. Louis's only pop-up Hanukkah bar.
Huh?
And I am hosting the party.
Are you really?
Yeah, you should come by if you got nothing going on. No music. I'm just on the mic. I'm getting people excited to be there. We're doing some dancing. We're doing some
dancing.
Some games.
That's right up my alley.
Yeah, well,
as a white sober
you're
guy,
supposed to stay off of the dance floor. But it'll be a good time at Sports and Social, on Saturday night.
How to find out information about that? Is there a website or anything?
my Instagram, I suppose.
Alex Rich on Instagram.
Yep.
Have a great Hanukkah. Enjoy your Christmas. We'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Talk
We're
to you
taking some
guys.
time off.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
We've got heavy traffic approaching the Poplar Street Bridge. It was road work in the left lane that caused it. Look for a parking lot jam back through Jefferson. 44 is jammed before you even get to 55 to take that to the Poplar. We've got southbound 170 lined up. And this is approaching Olive down through 64. Southbound 270 is Olive and pockets on down through 21. A lot of volume southbound 141, especially headed for 44 and for 21. And a lot of traffic on southbound Lee May Ferry headed down toward 141. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
From our family at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation to yours. Happy holidays. You want to hurry this up, Mark? I'm freezing my baguettes off.
Relax, Grandpa. Air Comfort Service is on their way. Aubrey, you're not doing anything. You want to let me know when they get here?
Honey, her eyes are frozen shut. Gus.
Avoid a 5-alarm emergency with an HVAC system check from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Learn more at aircomfortservice.com.
This is such a great time to be at one of the 2 Missouri Athletic Club locations. Downtown looks fantastic around the holidays. So does the West location. I often talk about the Charitable Society for Children, some of the philanthropic work that we do at the MAC. We've had some charities that have been really, really helped by generous members. Books for STL Kids, the Butterfly Kisses Alliance, which is a pregnancy and infant loss support organization, and KidSmart Tools for Learning School Supplies. Those were all the 2025 charities that were helped this past year. Now, we're in the process. I'm not important enough, but there's some important people at the MAC that are figuring out the children's charities for 2026. And we also have, of course, the Sports Foundation, which is set up, the MAC Sports Foundation, to encourage and recognize outstanding achievements in the field of athletics. And in connection, you have the Charitable Society for Children. They kind of go hand to hand together. Check out the MAC and what we do for St. Louis at mac-stl.org today.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsend. Many of our clients are victims of negligent drivers. They put their trust in us, and we help them recover physically and financially. Their words carry more weight than ours.
They guided me through every step of the legal process with clarity and expertise, ensuring that I always felt informed and supported.
Injured? Call Kaufman Townsley. It costs you nothing to call, but may cost you everything if you don't. Call 314-777-7777.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/radio for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/radio. See representative for warranty details.
This is Justin Brown with Krentz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. As retirement approaches, one question matters most. How will you replace your paycheck? With decades of experience, we've helped retirees turn uncertainty into clarity through personalized income planning and steady guidance. Our proactive strategies are designed so you can enjoy the retirement you worked your lifetime for, with clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
Still at large. I'm Tom Graham. Fox News investigators continue to release images related to the deadly shooting at Brown University over the weekend. Fox's CB Cotton is in Providence, Rhode Island.
Providence PD asking the public to help identify a second individual. The agency, though, is not calling this a second person of interest, but instead saying this person was near the man they've been searching for, described as 5'8" with a stocky build, who was casing the neighborhood near Brown before the shooting. Brown University now getting asking tough questions about what appears to be security lapses. It's been revealed that none of Brown's 1,200 campus cameras were linked to Providence PD's real-time crime center. But Providence PD's police chief says he's not sure it would have mattered, telling Fox that instead there needed to be a newer camera system inside the school's engineering building that, get this, was only partially covered by surveillance.
2 people were killed, 9 others injured. Nick Reiner appearing in court today. He's accused of murdering his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner, in their Los Angeles home Sunday night.
It was a very brief court appearance for Nick Reiner, and his formal arraignment ultimately delayed until January 7th at his own attorney's request. But it was the first time we have seen Nick Reiner since he was arrested on Sunday. He was brought into court wearing a suicide prevention smock. He sat there shackled as well. He only spoke once when the judge addressed him about the delay in the arraignment.
Fox's Jonathan Hunt in L.A. President Trump huddling with grieving families at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware today. The remains of 2 Iowa National Guard members arriving back in the U.S., Sergeant Edgar Torres Tovar and Sergeant William Howard, were killed during an attack in Syria. America's listening to Fox News.
The holidays mean more travel, more shopping, more time online, and more personal info in more places that could expose you more to identity theft. But LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our US-based restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Don't face drained accounts, fraudulent loans, or financial losses alone. Get more holiday fun and less holiday worry with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit lifelock.com. Terms apply.
Picture this. You're on a date, and then bad breath happens. Confidence gone. Here's the truth. Most gums and mints are just bad breath Band-Aids, but not Zellman's Minty Mouth. The functional breath freshener you swallow. Tiny dual-action capsules with mint on the outside, parsley seed oil inside, clinically tested to fight the toughest offenders, even garlic and onions. It's only available online. Go to Zellmans.com, Zelmins, Zellmans.com, code FRESH for 15% off.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Fair amount of clouds around this evening, breezy, and it stays quite mild. We're only going down to 50 degrees, so temperatures do not move much at all. Then on Thursday, cloudy skies, some showers around, maybe a rumble of thunder, focus on the morning. Windy from the northwest in the afternoon, so the warmest part of the day is the morning at 55, 45 by sunset. Thursday night, partly cloudy, windy and cold, down to 21. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
This hour of the Mark Reardon Show is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your trees deserve the best care. Call Gamma Tree Experts. This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So here's a kind of a funny story to share. I sit here at the control board every day. Not like the other hosts here at 97.1 FM Talk. I'm a control freak, so I run my own board. That's essentially the reason. I'm a disc jockey from my old days. I was a radio music guy, so I know how to run a board. Other people don't know how to run a board. But we have a relatively new board. We've had different boards over the years. Fred, you and I go back to the pots. Remember, we used to turn the handles. Anyway, there's something on my board when I go to a guest, and the phone lines are up here, or if we take callers or anything like that. And there's all these things. I'll just read them to you. It says master home, show profiles, monitor options. I have no idea what any of that means, right? It's all technical for the engineers. But then there's one that says call control. And the code that Sue and Fred and Ethan have used, because Fred gets a guest on the phone in the other room, and then to remind me, because I got to press the button, right? So I'm going to do that right now with our next guest. So I got to lock him in.
So I will come in every day and say, call control.
Because that's my brain. That tells me, okay, press the button. He says call control. Sue, you do it sometimes too. So Daniel, who is helping, he's one of the producers here out there in the other room. Daniel all this time thought that Fred was saying Paw Patrol. which is the kids show.
I kind of love that.
I do too. And I had to tell Daniel, I've seen Paw Patrol live a couple of times with Alexa, but how funny is that? And it makes complete sense because why would you be saying call control anyway, right? It's just kind of our insider thing.
Wow, the fact that we all say it, he must be thinking we're completely insane.
I know.
Fred says call control. I say call control. And
then I hit the button. Now, Duane Patterson has a lot of experience with things like this as a radio guy himself. He's with hotair.com. He hosts the Duane's World podcast.
Yeah.
How about that story? That's pretty good. How are you?
So he's what, 14?
He's a little older than that, but that's not too off the mark for sure. Oh, man. Now, you were going to clear something up on our conversation from the last hour about people who smell bad at work.
Well, exactly right. That's exactly right. And by the way, Merry Christmas. I want to say to Sue and Fred, Alex gets a pass because he is Jewish, although he could put up a Hanukkah bush and get away with it. But Ethan, Sue, Fred, I don't know what you did to hate the baby Jesus, but there is not a Christmas tree in your shot behind you like there is with Mark. Mark seems to be the only one of the group.
I love Christmas.
On the last week before Christmas, your last week working here, and you all are just hating the baby Jesus, and I'm just disappointed in
It's just the
you.
camera
I don't
angle.
even have
I'm
anything
looking-
behind me to
I'm
put
looking
it
around.
on.
I think
What
I have
about
a
you?
flag. Do I have a United States flag?
You do have a United States flag
I got a
behind you.
flag,
You
too.
do. So some
Now,
guy, hang on here. Let's go back to the odor topic. So somebody emailed and said, Phil is his name. He says, I wanted to clear one thing up about your Smelly People podcast or show here. He's very specific on it. He goes, those people actually don't smell. They think you smell. And that's probably true, right?
Well, first thing first, you can develop a nose blindness to your own scent. I mean, that just does happen. And sometimes you don't realize how bad you come across. Now, there are ways to address, Sue. There are ways to address other people at work. I know you're like, how do you have that conversation? Well, there's practical ways. There's funny ways. There is covert ways of doing it. You could do like a Secret Santa gift if it's around the holiday season, right? You give a Secret Santa gift of a pint of Axe, right? Or something like that. You could get to the office half an hour earlier, and you could put a Glade plug-in under their desk. Plug it in, plug it in. You could do the practical approach where you try to mentor somebody. And you say, so how long have you been having behavior or relationship problems? And maybe I can help you diagnose as to what may be a preventive barrier for you to meet somebody in a new relationship. You could do the funny approach. You could say, hey, I just went to a car wash, and they've got this brand new scent in an air freshener. I think it smells really great, but they told me it works better if it's heated. So can you go put this under your arms for a couple of hours?
That's an interesting technique.
Wow.
I'll have to remember that one in the future. It's just such an awkward conversation. Like the bad breath thing is there too. We didn't really talk about that, but that's something else that, you certainly can have an issue with in the workplace.
Absolutely right, and that does become a thing in radio. You're constantly talking and constantly working your mouth. Sometimes you don't have an idea of what's actually coming out. So mints and gum and that kind of stuff is always fine to have during the breaks.
All right, let's talk some politics here, Duane Patterson. And let me start with some news that's kind of breaking here in the last hour. I don't think I've mentioned yet. I think maybe it was on Fox. But Dan Bongino tweeted out, I will be leaving my position with the FBI in January. I want to thank President Trump, AG Bondi, Director Patel for the opportunity to serve with purpose. Most importantly, I want to thank you, my fellow Americans, for the privilege to serve with you. God bless America. I mean, I didn't see this one lasting. I think amongst all of the positions that were, appointed by this president, and, he had some issues in that first term. I think he did relatively well with the cabinet. Wasn't crazy about Cash or Bongino. Now, we got a guy, Andrew Bailey, who is our attorney general, Duane. He went to Washington 2 months ago to be assistant FBI director. No one's ever heard from him since. He may be missing as far as I know. But the gut check that I had was that I don't think Cash is going to be in there that much longer. And maybe Andrew Bailey might be the next FBI director. Any thoughts there?
It's certainly possible. I know that Donald Trump had Kash Patel in the Oval when the story broke that they were going to find a slow part of the month in January and they were going to dump him and replace him. and Caroline Leavitt immediately came out, and Cash was in. Caroline Leavitt showed that headline to Donald Trump, and he said that's preposterous.
Okay.
And so he seems to like Kash Patel. I have never heard the president mention Dan Bongino, good or bad. I've heard him do nothing but praise Kash Patel. One of the things that is interesting about the timing of this is, especially with regards to the investigation going on in the Brown University shooting, because that one is just troubling all the way around. And I can't remember a school shooting where we didn't have somebody that we were actually going for within 48 hours or actually caught. And so there's something going on
It's bizarre.
there.
It really is. It's very strange.
And it seems to me that maybe Bongino doesn't like the way things are going, and he just can't do it anymore.
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll have to see.
I don't know.
We'll have to see the narrative that comes out. All right, so then we have this speech tonight. We're going to air it here on 97.1 FM Talk. I'm a little pissed off it's going to interfere with my Survivor reunion or finale tonight, truthfully, because my family watches that. But what do you expect from the president tonight? Will this be a narrowly focused speech? I can't imagine he's going to go on for 90 minutes like he did in Pennsylvania. But what are you hearing from Capitol Hill? What do you think is going to happen tonight?
From what I can tell, I mean, there was talk online that this is going to be the precursor for more kinetic action in Venezuela. I don't think so. That doesn't seem to be what he's going to do. He came back from Dover Air Force Base with the peaceful or for the dignified transfer of the bodies of the Iowa servicemen in Syria. And when he came back and landed at Andrews, he did a quick gaggle, and he said it's pretty much just going to be talking about the economy and how we're starting to look up and things are going, the best is yet to come type of thing. I think what you're going to hear is kind of a mini State of the Union type of thing. It's not going to be necessarily a laundry list of spending programs that are coming, but I think it's going to be a rah-rah about, look, don't let the media tell you how rotten the economy is. Here, look at what gas prices are. Look what food prices are. Look at look at all the stuff that's going on, and we are turning a corner. Just ride it out and give it a little bit of time. It's going to be good.
Here's Carolyn's comment today on the speech tonight.
It's going to be a really good speech. I was just in the Oval Office with the president discussing it. He's going to talk a lot about the accomplishments over the past 11 months, all that he's done to bring our country back to greatness, and all he continues to plan to do to continue delivering for the American people over the next 3 years.
Now, Duane, what I would say here is I talk about the president in two different forms sometimes. There's teleprompter Trump, where he's out there and he's doing the basics and he's reading the teleprompter. Then there's off the teleprompter during the teleprompter Trump, where he'll, kind of weave and he'll go off script. And then there's just off script, weave guy. So I don't, he's not as effective when he just reads the teleprompter. So there has to be some moments where he can passionately, express himself to the American people. This will be interesting for me to watch tonight.
I agree with you. I expect kind of a hybrid. I expect him to be sort of on script, but I don't think he's going to be so monotone that there's going to be no energy in it. I think he wants to be kind of a cheerleader tonight and get people to be more positive about what things are going on. And I don't think you can convince people to be positive just by reading the teleprompter. I'll tell you the story of the week. I don't know if you've seen this yet. It's a long article. It's like 10,000 words long. In Compact Magazine by a guy named...
I read it. I know exactly what you're going to talk. I haven't... Go ahead and preview this because I have not talked about it yet, but this is unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, and you're younger than I am.
Not much.
Okay, well, we can have the conversation off air. I don't want to age shame you. I'm 59, so to me, and I've got a son. My oldest son is 35, so he's right in the heart of the millennials, right? And I pick on millennials all the time because one of my associate producers here is a millennial, and I pick on him all the time because it seems like that whole generation is a lost generation. They don't have the work ethic. They don't. There's a lot of things they don't do, and I get that. Every generation, the people that are now my age talk about the group behind them as, those stupid kids, they don't know anything, right? That's been going on time immemorial. But the millennials are kind of a different breed of cat, and they just don't do things the way that we did when we were working and had to hustle for a job and sometimes pick up 2 and 3 jobs just to be able to get by and get our share of the American dream. They don't seem to be as motivated for that. And I never understood why. I read this piece by Jacob Savage, and I get it as to why. The DEI stuff, which we on the right hated and did everything we could to stop because it was screwing over conservatives, it has screwed over people on the left side of the aisle, too. It has screwed over progressives. It has attacked young white males that are right in the wheelhouse of the millennial generation to the point where they don't have opportunities anymore. They've given up.
It's pretty frightening. Sue, I told you about this yesterday, remember?
Yeah.
Duane, to your point, this is a very, very long piece, but it was worth I've been waiting for an opportunity, but it's so detailed. And here's the thing. I have a son who is a teacher at a public school in Chicago, south side of Chicago, all black school. He's like one of the only white, teachers in the school. So he has aspirations for maybe higher levels in academia. I'm going to send him this article, not to be a big, downer at the holidays, but the numbers that he includes in this piece, not only on people in academia, but in the media. And his point is he was a scriptwriter and he was writing scripts and he was starting to get some attention. And there was a pilot that had pretty much gotten greenlit, but then all of a sudden the studio comes back and says, you know what? Too many white guys in the room. We can't have that. So what Jacob does is he doesn't bitch and moan about his situation, but he brings the receipts and he goes into great detail about the percentage of white dudes in whether it's a room for scriptwriters in Hollywood or the Atlantic or some of these newspapers like the LA Times, and it is stunning how much lower the level of white men are in newsrooms and in writing rooms across the country compared to what they were even 15 years ago.
Now this is left of center media that they're talking about largely in this article, that they're coming up with data points. That's a microcosm. It applies to education. It applies to law. It applies to virtually every other field out there where DEI has permeated. And so my takeaway to this is J.D. Vance's roadmap to the White House in 2028. So Donald Trump's going to talk about the economy tonight, and that's good. 1,000 times yes. Keep talking about the economy because that is what you have to do. Everybody in the administration should be talking about affordability, housing, what they're doing to try to make things better than the last 4 years. 1,000 times yes. What J.D. Vance has an opportunity to do here is to reach millions of disaffected, even people that are center-left or lefties, that are that millennial age range, that feel disillusioned that their movement kicked them to the curb and threw them out and took away all the opportunities. And J.D. Vance is probably the best guy that in the conservative movement now that can articulate, hey, I get it. And you may have had a home in the Democratic Party or thought you had a home in that movement, but here is where your home is, where you actually can have opportunities. The upside for J.D. Vance here is immense.
There are opportunities
if he reaches these people.
I agree with you. Now, let me just offer a little bit from this piece. So he, and by the way, Duane, this will come as no surprise to folks here, but a lot of this, Sue, starts in 2014. And what happened in 2014? Mike Brown and Ferguson. So this guy says when he moved to L.A. in 2011, it wasn't that time long ago, white men were 48% of the lower-level TV writers. By 2024, they were just 11.9%. And all of these percentages kind of hold true for other media organizations and also, institutions of higher learning. And it's quite something because I don't know how you get out of this, but there's been such a commitment to DEI. It raises the question. This is true in medicine too, Duane, as you know. Are you getting the best people or are you just getting the best colored people? And I think we've kind of figured that out over the course of the last 15 years, and the tide is turning a bit. But, man, have you had this guy on the show who wrote that piece?
No, it just got published this week, I think on Monday. I just learned about it, talked about it on my podcast yesterday. I'm heartened that J.D. Vance got a hold of it by today and started tweeting it out saying this is a big piece.
I was unaware of that, but that's good to hear.
It's wonderful that he gets it, and if he adopts that message so that he can communicate to these people, again, it's 8,000 plus words long. You go to the last page or two of it, And Savage says, I interviewed, countless people for this article, and virtually all of them, I'm paraphrasing, virtually all of them were left of center or progressives. And then he says, new sentence, some of them still are. Because they realize that the party and the movement that they're in failed them. Just completely betrayed them. And so now they're out there kind of lost, looking for a home. And I'm telling you, are we going to agree with them on every policy issue? Of course not. But can we give them something they're looking for, which is an opportunity to achieve the American dream? You betcha.
I'm just tweeting this out right now for people. I'm going to retweet the vice president because it is a long read, as we've indicated, but it is really important. Again, I almost press go. You guys tell me what to do. I almost pressed go on this to my son today, but he's going to be in town next week. I don't want him to misinterpret the reason that I'm sending it to him. But I feel like young white men, if you're in your 20s, you got kids in their 20s, they need access to this information because it may very well change career choices when you look into this. And it might very well should change career choices because the reality of what some of these kids are up against probably isn't going to change on a dime. And it's a little frightening. So it's a really good read. One more question before I let you go here, because I got to get your thoughts on Susie Wiles. She is a very powerful person inside the White House. She's the White House chief of staff. She's very shy. She does not do a lot of media, but she does this piece with Vanity Fair. There's 11 different times that this Chris Whipple guy talks to Susie Wiles. And then I'm driving out of here, leaving my show last night. I knew this was going to happen. I turned Laura on Fox. She's talking about Brown University. CNN is all about the chaos in the White House and the peace in Vanity Fair. Blah, 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 this terrible, president. Why did Susie Wiles agree to do this, though, Duane? That's the question that I have.
Well, I have no idea. The short answer is I wouldn't have done it unless I wouldn't have trusted them, number one. Number two, the smart thing to do is if you're going to do that, you keep the rest of the interview. You have a copy of all of it. As part of negotiating, here are the terms of your access. We get the entire interview so that if you pull a stunt like this, we can release the whole thing. And then you turn it into a war against Vanity Fair and you show how biased they are, and that reporter is done for. So that's your insurance policy. Now, why they didn't do that, I don't know. They should have.
Yeah, I guess that was part one, right? Part two, and it wasn't like it was the worst piece on Susie Wiles ever, but what happens is CNN runs with the worst part and the things that they think they can glom onto. But there were some strong words from even Donald Trump Jr. really giving high praise to Susie Wiles yesterday, and I'm pretty sure the president is sticking with her. Listen, you have a great Christmas. Thank you for all the contributions. We'll talk in a few weeks. How does that sound?
Absolutely, Mark. Merry Christmas, and one of the best gifts I've had is this relationship we've developed over the last year.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Duane Patterson, check him out at the Duane's World Podcast and hotair.com.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Accident westbound 44 approaching 270. And it came down as in the right lane's blocked, and it's dark and it's just a blur, but there are lanes blocked through there. We've got a jam behind it. In fact, if you are eastbound on 44, it's jammed near Compton to the Poplar Street Bridge. The problem has been road work in the left lane, eastbound on the Poplar on the Missouri side, and that's left us with a jam on 64. That is back to Jefferson. Accident westbound 6440 reported past Kings Highway. So we're left with slow pockets there approaching Kings Highway, really all the way out through 70. Again, just pockets. But eastbound is lined up 270 through Big Bend. Southbound 270, slow pockets from Page down through 21. We've got a parking lot on westbound 44, west of 270, out to an accident reported at 141, and the usual jam on 141 southbound between Manchester and 44. Westbound 70, by the way, slowing at 141 as well. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
We
without hesitation, recommend that anybody work with ThrottleNet. The experience will be as good as it's been for us, for anybody, because you'll get a true partnership and you'll be able to rest easy that you're going to get the service that you need while they're also doing all those things that you don't want to have to think about, that you don't want to have to worry about. They're always doing that in the background for you.
Don't wait for your next IT crisis. If your business depends on technology, you need a partner that's got your back. Contact ThrottleNet.com to get a free IT evaluation and see how we can support your IT everything.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The Mark Reardon Show, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Got Frank Miele coming up in a couple of minutes here. We're going to talk about some healthcare solutions. That's one of the things that they're debating even today in Congress, with some Republicans breaking out of the caucus, 4 of them, including Mike Lawler, who's in New York in some moderate districts, saying we want to vote on the ACA subsidies. But that's not going to be wrapped up here by the end of the year. Frank Miele, who is up in Montana, he contributes at RealClearPolitics.com, is going to weigh in on some of the things that we can do to fix health care. I have a great audio cut of the day coming up here this afternoon. The one story that I haven't mentioned at all, and, obviously it's one of the big stories of the week we'll talk about on the roundtable, is Nick Reiner killing his parents, Rob and Michelle Singer Reiner. Well, he has an attorney now, and I think we talked about this just a little bit yesterday. Alan Jackson is his name. He was, and if you watch the Karen Reed documentary on Netflix, he was the attorney that was with Karen Reed. They're doing a second part of that documentary, so you'll see him again. So he's a big celebrity-type attorney, and he made an appearance for his client today.
There are very, very complex and serious issues that are associated with this case. These need to be thoroughly but very carefully dealt with and examined and looked at and analyzed. We ask that during this process you allow the system to move forward in the way that it was designed to move forward, not with a rush to judgment, not with jumping to conclusions, but with restraint and with dignity and with the respect that this system and this process deserves.
I mean, I don't even know what you say. It's all the blah, blah, blah. I get it. We have the system. We have the Constitution. He's got a right to his attorney. The attorney has the right to say, prove it. But this is just a horrible, horrible thing. You know, Romy, the daughter, lived right across the street from Rob and Michelle. And she's the one who found the bodies. So I don't know why it is. And again, I've taken the politics and the whole Trump thing out of the mix here. But I've thought a lot about that crime, in the sense that it had to be so brutal and violent. And I can't even imagine anyone, I mean, she's an adult woman. It's not like she's a kid. I can't even imagine anyone coming up on something like that with their own parents having their throats slashed. So the attorney's going to get involved and do his thing, but it's hard for me to think that he's got any other avenue outside of just, an insanity plea.
Yeah, it is difficult. And apparently she only saw Dad, didn't realize her mom was gone.
Really?
Too. Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of details that are starting to come out now.
Yeah, I've seen a little of it that has trickled out in the LA Times, but my guess is, as more of this becomes known, because it's going to be in the court record, and there was some of that, that kind of happened today, which is why we're getting some of this reporting, but it's just awful. I do have a couple of things I want to talk about for tomorrow. Congressman Jason Smith will be here. He'll have some great perspective on what's happening with the health care subsidies and wrapping up the year in the House of Representatives. We had Congressman Onder on earlier today. He can be listened to if you use the rewind function on the Odyssey app and go back to about 3:30. I got to know this. William J. Kelly is his name. He's a rabble-rouser reporter in the city of Chicago, and there's some crazy stuff that's happening with Brandon Johnson and J.B. Pritzker, and William is one of those reporters that's not afraid to ask questions, the tough ones. He's going to join us tomorrow. We have Jen Say from XXXY Athletics coming on tomorrow. On Friday, it's the final roundtable of the year. Jane will be here, former state senators John Lamping and Jeff Smith on the panel, and then as I was indicating a little bit earlier this afternoon, Greg Coase is going to join us. He's got a documentary that he made 14 years ago called Song Sung Blue. You can watch it for free on YouTube right now. It's amazing. It's about a guy who was a Neil Diamond tribute act in Milwaukee named Mike Sardina, and he and his wife, Claire, they were known as Lightning and Thunder. And the major motion picture that is based on Greg's documentary will open next week on Christmas Day with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson in the leading roles. But Greg will join us on Friday afternoon to talk about the documentary. And I'm telling you, if you have any interest in seeing that movie with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, watch the doc for free on YouTube. It's called Song Sung Blue, same name as the movie coming out next week.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Couple of accidents along westbound 44. That's right. And one of them is just past Lindbergh. That's been blocking multiple lanes. It's jammed behind it. But then we have a parking lot from really 270 out to an accident at 141. 141, we've got accidents reported. There was one at Carmen, and I guess they may have cleared the other one, but it's still a slow go, headed down toward 44. Now, the other serious jam is if you are eastbound on 44, headed for the Poplar Street Bridge, it's back to Compton, and 64 is back near Jefferson. This is all due to road work on the bridge in the left lane. Accident reported now on westbound 70 as you approach the McKinley Bridge. That's Salisbury. Heavy traffic there. So it's one of those evenings. Oh, and an accident eastbound 70 approaching Lindbergh. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report brought to you by The Diamond Shop. The Diamond Shop, making St. Louis sparkle for over 100 years. They are awesome. Check their website for extended holiday hours. That's traffic. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Hey, it's Mark Cox. Can you believe it's already the holiday season? While most people are thinking about lights and gift lists, a lot of homeowners are also wondering if now's the right time to sell or if they should wait until the new year. So I'm here with Gloria Liu from Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria, what should sellers be thinking about right now?
Great question. Even during the holidays, serious buyers are still out there, and with fewer homes on the market, sellers actually face less competition. When we get into the new year, listings start to spike and competition rises. But that's never a problem for my clients because I guarantee to sell your home at your price and time frame, or I will buy it myself. Whether you want to move now or after the holidays, we'll make it smooth and stress-free.
That's why Gloria Liu is the trusted choice for St. Louis home sellers. Call 314-325-6888 or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. From all of us, happy holidays, and here's to your next move being your best one.
Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How
How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now. I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code NEXT for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code NEXT for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code NEXT.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
From Collinsville to Chesterfield, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
If Donald Trump had any shred of honesty and self-respect and self-insight, he'd look into the camera tonight and say to the American people, I have failed you.
Oh, Chuck Schumer. What has he failed on? Okay, well, maybe appointing Dan Bongino. That might be a fail. Dan Bongino quit today. He said he's leaving. I wasn't too crazy about that appointment. Anyway, Frank Miele is back with us this afternoon. He contributes at Real Clear Politics. He's up there in Montana where there's probably like 30 feet of snow already. Frank, how are you?
Hey, Mark. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me back, even though there's no snow yet.
You don't even have snow, do you? Like, we probably had more snow in St. Louis.
Snow, but we've had like 2 weeks of weather above freezing.
Oh,
so
yeah?
It's all gone.
Oh, man. I bet it's still beautiful up there. That's a state I don't think I've ever been there. You know, I could maybe think about it here, Frank, but it sounds...
you definitely want to come.
Absolutely. All right. Well, first of all, let me ask you, based on what I just played there with Chuck Schumer, what are your expectations for this speech tonight? It kind of came out of nowhere. Seems like the Republicans want to get the president, this administration, kind of focused on some economic messaging. Any expectations that you have for the address tonight? By the way, we're going to air it here on 97.1 FM Talk.
All I can say about that is I hope he does better than Susie Wiles.
Well, that could segue into a nice discussion about that. Because so Frank, what do you think about that? I read the piece. I don't think it's as damaging as some of the legacy media wants to indicate, but it's odd from the perspective that she's super shy. She doesn't really do interviews. Brian Kilmeade this afternoon told me, because he knows her a little bit, and she lives down in an area where he owns a home, and he's been trying to get her to do an interview. Well, she told him that, she doesn't like doing them. She did Lara Trump only because the president asked her. So that's kind of hanging in the background. And then we come to find out that she sits down at 11 different occasions during different points throughout this past year with Chris Whipple from Vanity Fair, which is, I think, Frank, you could have given Susie this advice. I could have given her this advice. Vanity Fair's not going to do a fair piece on you. I don't know what you were thinking.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, there's lots of speculation, but she has not come out and said, oh, I thought it was for a book to come out after, or, I didn't think it was on the record. So she did it. I'm starting to think maybe that blank look on her face isn't, made up. There might not be as much going on there. And I don't know. It really is bewildering, to put it mildly.
One of the things that they pointed out, and I should have known this, but I don't think I did, is that she had worked for DeSantis, and then when she left DeSantis, it did not end well, right? He kind of threw her under the bus.
Yeah. It's some intra-Florida politics going on there. I don't pretend to understand that. I'm in Montana. But something went, and unfortunately, it's one misstep on top of several other missteps that have happened in the last, couple of months. And it's just getting a little bit, I put it the other day on my column a couple of weeks ago, I am tired of so much winning. Please stop winning, because it doesn't feel like winning.
Yeah, so where do you think that takes us? You sound, we talk on a regular basis. I can hear that you're far less optimistic about this administration than you once were.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate almost every policy decision they're making, but they sell them so badly that I really feel like the midterms are going to be a disaster, and then the impeachment starts, and then that means the last 2 years are lost.
Yeah.
So Trump really needs to learn some restraint. He's got good ideas, but he has no self-restraint whatsoever, and people are tired of him.
I had this fantasy moment today when I was driving into work. And again, when I have moments like this, I know it's not going to happen. But I was thinking, what if Trump goes up there tonight and says, we've had an amazing first year. I'm going to hand this off to J.D. Vance. Godspeed. Now, he's not going to do that, of course. But I thought maybe.
No, I've had similar daydreams. So it would definitely make 2028 a lot different.
Yes, it would. All right, well, let's talk about some healthcare issues because that's been debated even today. I had Congressman Onder, one of our local members of the House, on. There were a few Republicans from the caucus who are in moderate districts, including Mike Lawler from New York, who gets mentioned a lot, that kind of broke with the Republicans to, call for a vote on the ACA subsidies. Hakeem wants those things extended for 3 more years, even though they were temporary to begin with, and then they were temporary again. They came out of COVID. But Frank Miele, you think, a better health care plan for the American people. Would you like to explain it?
Well, I think it's better. Let's start with the idea that nationalized health care is not a good idea. I've always said so. But second idea is politically, you can't get rid of it now. Once an entitlement's in place, it's not going to go away short of bankruptcy or revolution or something. So we're going to have some kind of government-subsidized health care. So do we want to keep Obamacare where we're wasting money, throwing good money after bad with these enhanced subsidies, which are insane that people with $140,000 income are getting subsidies? I would like to be making $140,000, and I'll pay the subsidy if I get it, okay? But, if we're going to not just keep going along with the Obamacare that we didn't ever like, then we have to come up with an alternative, and that's where the Republicans have come up short. I mean,
I agree.
The latest plan with Cassidy and Trump, saying we'll put $1,000 in your health savings account every year, and that's going to take care of it. No, it isn't. It's going to be cute, but it isn't going to take care of it if you have a major medical crisis. So that's out. So I basically invented this thing. It took me about 4 or 5 hours, a little brainstorming with the AI about what does stuff cost and things like that. And basically, I call it primary and emergency medical access, PEMA. And the whole idea is with Obamacare, most of the medical care you don't get until you reach your deductible. So in most cases, you don't get primary care. There's no copay and get primary care. I signed up for those policies for my wife and young son because I'm smart enough to know, hey, I'm not going to get anything back unless I get it up front with that because these guys aren't going to get sick. So I've got, the $45, $50 copay for my family. Well, most plans, when you go and look at them, I got 37 you can sign up for in Montana. Most of them don't have that. You don't get any primary care up front unless you reach your deductible.
Yeah, most people probably don't even know that.
People aren't going to reach that.
Yeah, so
people aren't going to reach that deductible. So they're basically not going to go in for primary care, which primary care is what prevents major medical crisis. That's why you go in for that, doctor's visit to make sure I don't have cancer. My heart's okay. All the rest. So my plan is going to pay up front for primary care. I don't know. There'd probably be some limits. You'll have your annual wellness. You probably get 3 sick calls a year where you get to come in, and above that you're not going to get free stuff, and maybe there'll be a copay, whatever, but the primary care is going to be up front. You're going to get some benefit. And then after that, the big change is the government is going to fund emergency care. Okay, instead of going straight to your insurance company, and then the insurance company is like, oh my God, everybody's coming to us with these major medical crises. We got to raise our premiums. We got to raise our rates. Instead of that, the government's going to come in and they're going to provide a intermediary care for people who, you have a heart attack and you're going to wind up having a bill of $150,000 for the hospital time and everything else. Well, the government's going to come in. They're going to pay up front maybe $25,000 of that. And then it's going to get handed off to the insurance company. So the insurance company is going to be better off because they're not paying right up front. So they're getting a little bit better benefit. So basically, they're going to sell you catastrophic care insurance, which is way cheaper than coverage of everything insurance. So there's going to be a benefit for the insurance companies. They're going to get the government's going to pick up some of the payment early. There's going to be a benefit for the patients because they're going to get coverage right up front. They're not going to have to wait till a deductible is covered. And there's going to be benefit for the government because instead of sending $88 billion on these subsidies, they're going to actually be paying to help keep people healthy.
Yeah, there's a difference.
For insurance. Yeah. It's going to be for actual medical care.
So what I love about this is I've talked about healthcare reform, literally, frankly, for decades. I had Claire McCaskill on when she was in the Senate talking about Obamacare. It's going to save all this money. Premiums are going to go down. I've talked to, I was close with former Speaker Paul Ryan. We talked extensively about healthcare and Social Security reform and all these other things as well. I've never seen what you wrote out in this column that was put together, like you said, in 4 or 5 hours with so many specifics, because this plan actually has something to it, Frank, when you read it. Now, some people might hear what you said, though, and you addressed this in the column. You said, wait a second, doesn't that kind of sound like stuff that Democrats are pushing, like nationalized healthcare, single payer? But this is a little different than single payer, but the government is still involved.
The government is involved. They're going to be your friend, providing you money in your wallet so you can afford health care. But they're not going to control the health care system. So you're not going to have the Canadian or UK situation where you have to wait months and months to get in, because it's still all going to be run by hospitals, by doctors, and insurance companies. Insurance companies already do a lot of like, oh, hey, a claim came in. How, are we going to take it? Are we not going to? So they've got the bureaucracy already built in. Get the government out of it. And these insurance companies are going to figure out, who's responsible for the payment. Is it the patient? Is it the government? Or is it us, the insurer? And they're going to take care of that. The only thing the government's going to need, they're going to get a bill from the insurance company, and they're going to have to pay it. And there's got to be some kind of prevention of fraud. So they're going to have to make sure they've got those things in there.
Oh, good
but
luck with that,
it's
right?
not going to be. Somebody wrote to me who is like an online blogger, and she said, I have accidentally reinvented French healthcare. I don't know yet. I haven't looked it up, but she said almost everything in there is what you get in France. So
okay.
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, check that out. But look, you have some ideas, and at the very least, we should be talking about these ideas, right? Republicans should be focusing on things that actually can help the American people instead of going back and forth here, and that's the challenge they're up against. Frank, you have a great Christmas. I'm out of time here. I have to get to one more segment. We'll talk after the first of the year.
Thank you for calling.
All right, take care, man. I always appreciate it.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Wow, we've had some issues this afternoon in traffic. If you are headed into Illinois, we still have a serious jam headed for the Poplar Street Bridge due to road work in the left lane on the Missouri side of the bridge. Eastbound 44 is pretty slow from Compton to the bridge as well. Couple of accidents along westbound 44. One just past Lindbergh that caused a delay. They just cleared the one that was at 141, but traffic is still unwinding through there. We've got moderate volume southbound 270, and this is south of Page, in pockets through 21. Eastbound 40 is slow between 270 and Big Bend. Westbound lines up near Kings Highway, and that's slow pockets all the way on out through the 70 split. And 70, not as bad, but it's jammed at Jennings Station Road. We had an accident reported in that area. Once you clear that, it's all right. But there's an accident southbound 270 north of 70, and eastbound 70 is slowing at 141. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Ryan Wiggins here from Wiggins America and the Annie Fry Show. One of the best things that's under-celebrated about the holiday season is the time off, resetting for the coming year. And boy, do we have a big one ahead. Looking forward to it. Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you, Ryan Wiggins. Let's maybe feel the Christmas season at Michael's Flooring Outlet at all and get some style for the season. In fact, if you go on their website right now, which is igotfloor.com, and use the code 3FREE, you can get 3 free samples from Michael's right now. Now, I do have a much better way to do this. I think seeing things in person, I'm an audio guy, but I'm a very visual learner, and I like to touch and see things. You go into one of those 3 locations from Michael's, you can see some of the products that you can put in your home, and the staff and let me say, the experienced staff at Michael's will guide you through your options. Your lifestyle is going to be different than mine. You may have different needs and wants. You may want soft carpeting. I'm kind of trending toward the hard flooring, getting rid of some carpeting in my home. Some people are doing the opposite. One thing about carpeting, Mohawk in particular, one of the greatest brands out there, the technology is so good with the stain and the odor removal and all that. They can really hook you up with a great product that's fitting for your household, that's within your budget as well. IGotFloor.com. They're open every day except for Sunday. I think they might be closed on Christmas Day as well. In Darden Prairie, in West County on Olive, and in Old Town St. Peters, Michael's Flooring Outlet.
Hey, Stewie, I'm hearing mortgage rates have plummeted. The Fed's making moves. Is this the moment where folks can start saving some money?
Annie, I'm so excited, and you should be too. This is a great opportunity. Now, there's numerous ways to go ahead and save money. One is go from rate A to rate B, reduce it at no cost with the bagel loan, and save $100, $200, $300, $700 a month. Another way is to reduce the term. We took a customer, went from 29 years left on the loan to 20 years. Their payment went up $35 a month, and guess what? They saved $170,000 in interest.
Does that mean we should wait, or should we act right now?
Well, that's a good question. People ask me this all the time. The Federal Reserve is going to cut the rates. Maybe I should wait. No, the market goes ahead and adjusts for potential rate cuts in the future. So the rates are typically lower than when the Federal Reserve actually does something about it. So go ahead and refinance now. Later on, if rates go ahead and drop, we can always refinance you for free again with the bagel loan.
Contact my friend Stewie at 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan and MLS number 226-715.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
This is the Mark Reardon Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Tomorrow's show, Congressman Jason Smith. He is the chair of the House Ways and Means Committee. He's very active in all these discussions about the ACA subsidies. We'll get Jason's thoughts on that. Also, William J. Kelly, who is an independent news reporter in Chicago, and he's been tangling with Brandon Johnson, so that's some really good stuff coming up tomorrow.
Stand by. Playback ready.
Now, the audio cut of the day.
All right, Sue, I want your input on this, and I'm gonna do some things a little differently because I want to play your audio cut of the day for you, and then I want to get reaction. I want to say a few things about it. This has made a little bit of news and gone viral today. This is Chris Kempensky, I think is how you pronounce his name. He is the CEO of McDonald's Restaurants, and he has some advice, some career advice for younger people, perhaps in particular.
This is the career advice I would give you if I wasn't afraid to hurt your feelings. Are you ready for it? Have a thick skin. The advice I would give is, remember, nobody cares about your career as much as you do. So this idea that there's somebody out there who's looking out for you, who's going to make sure that you get that opportunity, who puts you in the right thing, great if it happens, but at the end of the day, nobody cares more about your career than you do. So you've got to own it. You've got to make things happen for yourself.
You are not given responsibility. You take responsibility. This guy is so right. And I can offer a real-life example of this in many different ways. One of them just walked out of the room, and that's Ethan Hannaford, our producer,
Yes.
who is a hungry, ambitious young man
Yes.
who wants to do play-by-play, and he does it sometimes for free, and he practices at Busch Stadium, and he works for Lindenwood, and he is going to, in the end, make a lot more money than you and I combined because
Yes.
he's extremely talented, and he's focused on what he wants to do.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell you soon, this may come as a surprise to people because you can't really argue that Mark Reardon works really hard these days because all this material is handed to him. But I went after it when I was young. I wanted to work in the record business. I found a kid that was the record rep for CBS Records. They had this college rep program at the University of Missouri. I'm not making this up, I literally stalked him, and I found him at the library, at Ellis Library, and I introduced myself. We ended up being roommates, and I ended up doing that work for CBS Records. I wanted to review films in 1987. There was a guy in the Columbia Daily Tribune that did it a week after the movie was released. So if a movie's coming out on Friday, 10 days later, he did a review. I thought that was ridiculous. So I go to the local theater dude that I got to know and I said, hey, is there any way for me to see these movies before they came out? He goes, yeah, if you want to sit here during the print checks on a Thursday, we have to put the I sat there and I did that. I did movie reviews from then on until 4 years ago, and it was a big part of my career. When I was in radio, I made contacts with people. I kept in touch with them. I sent them letters.
Yes.
I phoned them. When I lost my job here in St. Louis in 1997, I had worked with a guy from Springfield, Missouri, who was on the Associated Press board with me. His name was Dan Shelley. Dan, I kept in touch with. And when I lost my job, he was one of the first people I called. He was at WTMJ in Milwaukee. Lo and behold, I was hired there. When I came back here to St. Louis, I had kept in great contact with our current boss, Steve Moore. I networked. I worked aggressively to make sure that I was on people's radars because I knew in radio I could get fired in a heartbeat. And if I did get fired in a heartbeat, I had to make income for my family. I've never in my career, and this is very rare, I think, in media, I've never gapped my income. I've been fired twice. I've immediately gone back to work. Like when I got fired in Milwaukee, it was a budget cut. I knew Tom Langmeyer, who used to run KMOX. He was then running WGN in Chicago. I called Tom. Boom. Next week, I'm working at WGN Radio. But it was because I laid the groundwork. And what the McDonald's CEO is saying, you got to be aggressive. If you want something to happen in your life, no one's going to give it to you. You have got to go out there and make it flippin' happen.
Well, think about how many people have started by working in a fast food restaurant in general. In other words, when you're a kid, at least you'll have something to put on your resume.
Yeah, but then
that will take you to something else.
Well, that's a part of it. But what he's saying is like, if you think you have a passion for something, you want to be a manager at McDonald's, don't just do your job. You go above and beyond your job. A lot of people don't do that anymore. That's why I offered Ethan. He goes above and beyond. Most people are doing, they're checking off the boxes. Maybe I'll get a promotion or another job. That's not the way to do it if you want to be successful and you have a passion for something.
That's exactly right. Well, what I was meaning was that's a good first job. Then you can learn and learn to manage people. I mean, just getting out there and doing something is good.
Get off your ass, I think, is the bottom line.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads tonight, we have had issues out there. Now, westbound 70, there was an accident near Jennings Station Road, so a jam behind it. Then things open up, just a moderate volume at K. 64, most of the volume there is approaching Hampton out through McCausland. Little bit to the west between 94 and 70. Now, eastbound is slow, east of Lindbergh through Big Bend, and we still have a jam headed for the Poplar Street Bridge. That's all due to road work in the left lane on the bridge. At 44, eastbound is jammed, headed for 55. Still a couple slow pockets on westbound 44, 270 out past 141, all due to an earlier accident. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control. I'm Sue Thomas, and that's traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Annie here, and I can proudly say no more spiders in my home. I use Point Pest Control 4 times a year, and I haven't seen any, not a single one, since they've been in my home. Mention Annie and get 10% on top of any other special. Point Pest Control, 636-798-0023.
What stress?